How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. This is the final fight. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in dystopia. This is the final sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you. Won't anybody help us? What are we running for? When there's nowhere we can run to anymore. We can't afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible. And with the power of conviction, there is no sacrifice. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible.
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent 200.
Literally.
So
not
it's,
Ian.
it's not a because I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is
problem.
that what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under if
streaming?
you're going to do it.
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise, you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah, please.
But Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
I would never start the stream with the microphone muted. I'm a professional streamer on the internet, as you guys know. You know, people have been waiting for me to come on all day. They've been waiting to hear the rant. They've been waiting to hear the yelling. They've been waiting for me to go off on every single conservative retard on Twitter who is currently stealing my content and profiting off of it, because they literally have no principles. They have no intellectual integrity. They have nothing at all except theft. I never, ever, 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 ever want to hear conservatives talk about how they are the arbiters of meritocracy again. I never want to hear conservatives say we believe in pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, because conservatives do not believe in meritocracy. Conservatives do not believe in pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Conservatives just steal other people's work and take credit for it. And then when they get called out about it, they get more pissed off at getting called out about it than they do about the thing that they originally stole. But you know what? I'm not even mad. I'm honestly not even mad. I'm not even mad because I told you guys this was going to happen. I literally told you guys this was going to happen. Now, did I expect it to go as well as it has gone? I mean, you never know. Sometimes it's touch and go, but I was pretty sure, I have to say, I was pretty sure that if I clipped this clip and put it out on the internet, even with my watermark in the middle of the fucking picture. And by the way, the reason I didn't put my personal handle is because had I put my personal handle, conservatives would have said that that was a video of me. I promise you, if I had put Dr. Karlyn B as the watermark, conservatives would have said that the person in the video was me, and they would have lied about that. So I put the Decode the Left handle just so there could be no confusion, because when you're dealing with conservative retardation and content theft on the internet, they will say and do literally anything to obfuscate responsibility for stealing my content. And so if you were on the stream yesterday, you saw this happen live, where we saw this queer comedy show that happened last year, that obviously no conservative ever bothered to watch this content. No one on the right ever bothered to watch this last year when it happened. The only reason this clip is out there now is because we bothered to watch the content and actually listen to it and make a clip. And then as soon as I put it out there on Twitter, what happens? But conservative influencers start stealing my content. To an egregious degree, they start stealing my content because they just cannot help themselves. Now, if any of the people stealing my content had ever done anything to support all of the different deep dives I've done on the far left over the last several years, I would have different feelings about it. If any of the people currently stealing my content had done anything to share the 19 ways from Sunday that we have leftists on video talking about literally overthrowing the government, talking about all of their organizing strategy, going inside their meetings and revealing information the left doesn't want to reveal, had the conservative retards who are currently stealing my content shared any of that information or informed their audiences at all, perhaps I would feel differently about making a mockery of them on the internet. But of course, the same people who have never shared my work, never commented on my work, never gone inside far left meetings, have never gone undercover with the left like I have, they're the ones that just sit their asses on Twitter all day long, stealing other people's content to take credit for it so they can make money. And I am not the only person they do this to. The conservative retards of the internet do this all the time because they do not believe in meritocracy. They do not believe in pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. The only thing they care about is advancing their narrative and profiting by getting their audiences addicted to clickbait outrage. And I feel as though I have now demonstrated that to a pretty masterful degree. For anyone who had any doubt about the integrity of your favorite conservative retards, just check their Twitter accounts today to see if they've stolen my content. How many people in the chat? One in the chat if you have seen conservative retards steal my content on Twitter today. One in the chat if you have seen my content being stolen and used to profit other people on Twitter today. Two in the chat if you haven't seen any of that. Yeah, it's a lot of ones. Yeah, it's a lot of ones. See, the thing of it is, guys, I've been covering the far left for years. I've been doing this for years and years and years. I watch content about the far left that no one else wants to watch. I take hours and hours and hours out of my week to research this, to watch it with you guys, to show you what's going on directly. This takes a lot of my time to find this content. And people might say this is the first conservative retard excuse whenever anything like this happens. Here's the first conservative retard excuse. You should just be happy the information is out there. Well, oh really, conservatives? Oh really? I should be thanking you for stealing my content, for downloading it off of my Twitter page, for putting your fucking watermark on it, and then redistributing it so it looks like you found it. I should be happy and thanking you for stealing my content. Do you guys know that I almost went broke last year? Because I had dug so far into my savings to be able to do this work on the internet. But because of the constant content theft of conservatives stealing my work and taking credit for it, it was almost impossible to get people to actually find my work to fund it. Because conservatives would be perfectly happy if I went completely out of business tomorrow. Conservatives wouldn't give a shit if I just had to quit tomorrow because I couldn't afford to do this anymore because we couldn't get enough people to fund my work. They have literally been stealing my content and taking credit for it for years. And last year, I almost had to make a very tough decision to say, if this keeps going like it is, I can't afford to do this anymore because I can't get my work funded because conservative retards keep stealing my work and taking credit for it so people don't know how to find the person that's actually doing it. Guys, when you're an independent journalist, it is imperative that people know when you are the source of information, because if they don't know that you're the source of information, they are not going to fund you. And if they do not fund you through super chats or channel memberships or Substack subscriptions or whatever, if they do not fund you, you do not have the time to do the research and the journalism. Watching this content takes me hours and hours and hours and hours every single day. And if I don't have the ability to fund that time, the research doesn't get done and the content doesn't get created. It's really, really simple, guys. If you want independent journalism to exist, and I'm talking about true independent journalists, I'm not talking about people who work for Turning Point USA and claim to be independent journalists. If you work for Turning Point USA, you are not an independent journalist. I work for no political organizations. The only people that fund my work is my audience. That's it. I don't take any political money. I don't shill any political narrative. My only job is to research, to show you guys what's going on, and to spend my time breaking it down so that you understand what this is and what we're dealing with. And the reason that I can operate completely independently is because I am funded to do it by literally thousands of people who have since found my content So the last year has actually been pretty great since the June riots of last year. I got to say, I've had more people funding my work than ever. I've had more people, following my work than ever. But I really want people to understand that a year ago at this time, I was literally like, in my head, I'm like, I've got a couple more months of this. Literally 1 year ago at this time, I had maybe 6 more months before I was going to have to quit and stop doing it entirely because it was costing me so much money. Your eBay gang. Hey, guess what? Guess what? You just got permanently banned from my channel. Goodbye. If you're asking people to fund your work, you are begging on the internet. That's the conservative mentality, guys. Do you want this research done or don't you? It is really that simple. When you are stealing content from independent creators and claiming that you found it, you are preventing this work from happening. When you are telling me that I'm not allowed to calmly explain, guys, this is how actual independent journalism gets done. And if you don't fund independent journalism, it's not going to happen. And then you're just going to get fed clickbait bullshit with people with a political narrative for the rest of your fucking lives. One in the chat if you guys only want to be fed clickbait bullshit from conservative con artists. One in the chat if you guys want to be fed clickbait bullshit from conservative con artists who are grifting to push a political narrative. 2 in the chat if you literally just want access to the direct information so that you can see for yourself what's going on and decide for yourself what you think about it. Because if you say you're not allowed to ask for money for your work, otherwise you're begging and you're a grifter, then what you are saying is you want conservative clickbait content pushing a political narrative that is inevitably going to lie to you, probably content they stole from someone else that you don't even know about, because the people on Twitter are literally only paid to steal content from other people, pretend they created it themselves, showing you only the things that are pushing a very specific political narrative, not showing you a ton of stuff that disrupts their narrative. If you guys want to complain about the fact that I ask you to fund my work, then you can literally get the fuck off my stream, stop, like you will be deported from my chat immediately, and you can go back to your conservative con artists on Twitter and get fed a political narrative where they are lying to you. But I'm very, very lucky because we got a bunch of people supporting my work right now. We got a bunch of channel memberships coming in. We've already had 36 channel memberships donated on the stream today. And guys, we got a big channel membership goal today. I want to hit 150 new channel members before we're done our day today. We are doing this stream. We will also be doing State of the Union coverage later. I would really like to blow this channel membership out of the goal right out of the water. If I'm being honest about it, I would like to get 200 channel memberships. I'd like to get 250 channel memberships, just so we send the message to all the conservative retards on Twitter who are stealing my work that on this channel, we fund independent journalism. We do not steal from independent journalists. We fund independent journalism here. And by the way, guys, I pay it forward. If I'm using work from other people, I fund them. Because independent journalism actually needs to be funded. That's the way it goes. Yo, we just got a bunch more chats. I'm going to be going through and answering everyone. Guys, anytime someone gives channel memberships in the chat, please give a massive W in the chat to anyone giving channel memberships, especially our Queen Cynthia. I'm going to go through them all in a second. We're up to 46 channel memberships so far today, gifted out. Hey, Dr. K, is it the end of the month? Well, I don't know about that. W's in the chat for Cynthia with the first 5 gifted channel memberships. For Misa Canada Future Scarf Picture, hey, don't worry about it. Just because I'm losing weight and I'm getting hot and stuff doesn't mean you guys are getting naked pictures anytime soon. W in the chat for Channel Logo. W's for Cynthia. Again, another 5 channel membership gift. You'll always be my number one. I do appreciate that. You rock. Old Sub Sailor. You disown conservatism. You're now officially a fascist. That is awesome news. Lightning bolts in the chat for Old Sub Sailor. You rock, bro. Another 5 from Cynthia. W's to Cynthia. 10 from Frank. W's for Frank in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Another 5 from Cynthia. Cynthia is busting out the credit card again. YouTube has let Cynthia out of jail. Cynthia is unleashed just in time to give a big middle finger to all the conservative retards on Twitter who are stealing my content and claiming that they found it. Love you, Cynthia. Thanks so much. W's in the chat for just a college dropout. Really do appreciate it, bro. We got average person in with the super chat. There's a multitude of reasons why conservatives are so despised in this country by everyone. Ain't it the truth? We got Anthony in with the $10 super sticker. Thanks so much, Anthony. You rock. Anti-grifter McCarlinism fun. Johan, thank you, bro. You are the best. Yo! Holy shit! Holy shit! Okay, I just saw something awesome. I'm gonna go through the rest of these. W's in the chat for Cynthia. W's in the chat for Johan. We are gonna blow this fucking channel membership goal out of the water today. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Cynthia in with the W. Thank you, Cynthia, for the $50 super chat. Yay, integrity. So sick of the lies. I know. Truth and honesty does prevail every once in a while, guys. We got Anthony in with the gifted channel membership. W's to Anthony. We got Old Sub in. Old Sub. Holy shit. Old Sub Sailor in with 50. 50 channel memberships. Will we meet the 150 goal before I even actually start the stream today? Are we going to have the most epic fucking channel membership day in the history of... Oh, can we even hit 300? Can we hit 300 channel members today? That would be fucking awesome. Old Sub, you rock. We love you, bro. You are a king in this community. Thank you so much. So super, super generous gift, bro. We got Just a College Dropout. I watched the 2022 NYU stream. I will never complain. I'm very sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that you subjected yourself to that NYU stream. But you know what? Now you appreciate it. Now you appreciate the other content. W's in the chat for Cynthia with another 5 gifted channel memberships. Welcome to Patrick. Welcome to the cult, bro. We love you. Welcome. We love you being here. W's again for Cynthia. Holy shit. We're already up to like 113 channel members, YouTube is telling me. There might even be more coming. I don't even know if they've assigned all of Old Sub's 50 memberships yet. We have at least 113 new members of the channel already today. You know what I'm going to do, guys? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set a goal of 300 channel memberships. I'm just going to go for it. We're going to be streaming a lot today, guys. We've got our first stream. This is our first stream. We are going to be listening to a conversation about socialists in space. And then we're doing State of the Union coverage later. So by the end of the day, can we hit 300 new channel members? That would be fucking rad. That would be an all-time high for new channel members. W's in the chat for Cynthia. 10 gifted channel memberships. You rock, Cynthia. You rock. Maybe it's a lofty goal. It's a lofty goal. But I really do think that the best way to get conservatives to stop stealing my content is to, well, actually, no, that's not true. Conservatives are never going to stop stealing my content. My content is too good. My content is too far ahead of them. They don't know how to find my content. They don't know how to find this information. And so there's no reality in which conservatives are ever going to stop stealing my content. They know it. We know it. And now it's clear for everyone. Thank you, Deets, with the 1 channel membership. Really do appreciate it, bro. But the best way to give the conservative content thieves the middle fucking finger when they do this shit is to make sure my work gets funded. Channel memberships are a great way to fund my work, and I really do appreciate it. Our original goal of 150 was too small, guys. We gotta go for the 300 today. We gotta do it because we're gonna be streaming for the next several hours. We're gonna do this stream. We're gonna do State of the Union stream tonight. We're gonna be streaming basically for the rest of the day, so we have got plenty of time to get another 180 channel memberships in, 176 channel memberships in. I believe in you guys. I know you can do it. Let me show you what happened today. Let me just give you guys just a little taste. Just a little fucking taste of the conservative retardation today on Twitter. Now, one of the things that's so interesting to me And, they didn't exactly steal my content because they did embed it. Do you guys know I have Libs of TikTok blocked on Twitter? Do you know why I have Libs of TikTok blocked on Twitter? The reason I have Libs of TikTok blocked is I think their behavior in terms of doxing like hourly waged employees at Home Depot after Charlie Kirk died, or after Charlie Kirk died, after the Donald Trump assassination attempt. I think that Libs of TikTok engaged in disgusting fucking behavior, doxing like just these normie fucking Home Depot employees, getting people to show up, recording them. It was, they were doxing like people who were waiters at family restaurants, getting people to go there with their, like, it was absolutely fucking disgusting behavior. And at that point, I didn't like Libs of TikTok anyway. And at that point, I was like, literally, fuck that Jewish fucking cunt. Like that is low. Even if you disagree with someone, even if someone else says horrible things, it's kind of like normie, like low IQ fucking normies who are just out there trying to work a low wage job. You think that doxing those people is going to change the world? Like, literally, fuck off. That's just like horrible thing to do. W's in the chat. Kai Noticer with the gifted channel membership. Really do appreciate that. Up to 125. You guys rock. Almost halfway there. Not even started the stream yet. So I found it interesting that Libs of TikTok shared my video, since I literally have Libs of TikTok blocked. I'm just saying. For conservative grifter fatigue, F thieves. Thank you, Horseshoes Hand Grenades. Appreciate you, bro. Horseshoes and Hand Grenades was out there, like, reposting my content everywhere, like, giving conservatives so much shit for stealing my content. It's funny. Yeah, well, yeah, it's a Jewish woman that runs that account. Yeah. So that's Libs of TikTok. Now, RT, can we just talk about the gratuitousness of RT, which is Russian state media with 3 million followers? RT downloaded the video off of my Twitter account. They added their watermark to it. These assholes literally added their watermark to my video and then uploaded the video to their account and reposted it to avoid actually crediting the original source. And then people started calling them out, and they put my name in the reply, but they didn't actually tag me. If you guys want to tell RT to go fuck themselves, here is the link to the tweet. You guys can feel free to reply to them and say whatever you want to say. It's cool. It's cool. Not the bee who has stolen my work before. This isn't even the first time Not the Bee has stolen my work, by the way. Not the Bee wrote a whole article about my work where they used a screenshot of their favorite con artist fucking grifter who is not crediting me. You can see they completely removed my fucking credit. And then they said, this clip was recorded on activist Karlyn Borysenko's live stream. She calls it an out-of-context clip, and it is because it is so short, with a longer quote from the comedian. So what Not the Bee did, do you guys notice this doesn't have the watermark over it? You guys notice that doesn't have the watermark over it? What Not the Bee did is they took this video and they watched this video, which you can clearly see is from the stream yesterday. No, they didn't cover it. No, they didn't cover it. What they did is they took this video, they clipped this part of the video. So they literally downloaded this video off of my fucking account from the stream yesterday. I did not put a watermark on this video because I didn't actually think that any conservative outlet would have the fucking balls to literally just clip this section of the video and post that. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. See? And they're not the only one who did it. They're not the only one who did it. Sarah Field, who is a Zionist bitch, who I have had blocked for years. She's another one I've had blocked for a real long time. She literally downloaded the second video, the one that clearly came from my stream, and clipped out the part without any sort of branding so that she could steal the content that way. If you guys want to comment on this evil cunt's tweet, there's the tweet. She's got me blocked on Twitter. So of course she's got me blocked. Has no problem stealing my fucking content, but of course has me blocked, so I can't defend myself. But if you guys want to go and call out that bitch in her comments, please, please, please feel free to do so. I love this one, though. I love it when... So I started calling out conservatives on all this bullshit on Twitter. Yo, thank you. Clipping videos and clipping coins. Yup. So because I started calling conservatives out on Twitter, because of course, everyone who's actually watched my content knows that I am making a point by posting this video. I don't post clickbait unless I'm making a point. And the point I'm making is that conservative con artists are a bunch of fucking cloud-chasing grifters who can't find any of their own content, and they just steal from other people and take things out of context. And then conservatives get more angry at me for calling them out on their bullshit than they are at the original video. This person is saying, yo, dude, how about we put your fat, mentally ill ass in a wood chipper? So this conservative is replying to me, and you can see this is a reply to me. That's to me. This person is literally calling for me to be murdered. Those are your good conservatives, ladies and gentlemen, calling for me to be murdered because they're pissed off that I'm calling them out for stealing my content. These are all the conservatives that say we can't compromise our morals to beat the left and that they would rather lose. And they're the ones that are out there stealing my content, pretending they're on the moral high ground. They're a bunch of fake fucking grifters is what they are. And I think I'm proving that, rather, nicely. So look at this one. This guy cropped out my Plague Doctor logo because God downloaded my video, cropped out the Plague Doctor logo, but couldn't get rid of the watermark. I'm sure they tried to remove it, but they weren't smart enough to figure it out. So they literally just cropped out the Plague Doctor logo because apparently that was just too much. And then pretended that they found the content. If you want to reply to this guy and tell him to eat my entire fucking ass, please feel free to do it. You don't have to quote me directly on that. You don't have to say you can eat in Karlyn's entire ass. You can say something else. You don't have to say exactly that. But you know what was really funny? When we called this guy out for downloading my content, cropping out my Plague Doctor, re-uploading my content, pretending that they fucking found it. Do you know what the response was? You're fat and ugly. Because of course, I actually left the house today, and I was wearing really cool shoes. Have you guys fucking seen the shoes that I was wearing today? I was wearing really, really cool shoes. And I had my Bulgari limited edition snakeskin bag, which I fucking love that bag. I rock that bag all the time. That bag is the best. And I was like, Karlyn, you're actually looking hot today. You can actually see the amount of weight that you're losing, and that's actually pretty rad. And so I posted myself in an outfit saying, oh no, Karlyn's losing weight. However, are conservative retards going to discredit my work when they can't simply scream, you're fat anymore? Because of course, for years and years and years, that's been the big conservative cope. Conservatives over and over and over again for years have been saying, you're fat, Karlyn. Every time they want to discredit my work, every time they want to gatekeep me, that is the response. Conservatives can't argue with the content of my work. Conservatives can't debate me. Conservatives can't disprove any single thing that I say because I have more content and evidence than they do. So the only thing they've been able to say for years is, you're fat and ugly. And that's the excuse that they make for stealing my work, for defaming me on the internet, for lying to their fucking audiences over and over and over and over and over again. And guess what, guys? The keto crash starvation diet is working. I've already lost over 30 pounds on the keto crash starvation diet since I started it. Just give it a couple more months, because now the weight's really starting to come off. The first like 3 months or so of a diet, it's kind of like your body's acclimating, your body, like you're figuring it out. You got to figure out the formula that works and all that stuff. But I'm now into like month four of this, I think, almost. No, actually, I only started this in December. I started this at the very end of November. So I'm not even 3 fucking months into the keto crash starvation diet. I've already lost like 30, almost 35 pounds. So watch what's going to happen in a couple months, conservatives, when all of the weight melts off and you guys can't call me fat anymore. And the thing of it is they're always going to call me fat. The thing of it is, it's never going to stop. And people should understand this. They're always going to say, you're fat, you're ugly. They're going to make fun of my teeth that aren't perfect. They're going to make fun of my hair. They're going to say, you're a Democrat. They're going to post a picture of me when I had a shaved head. They're going to do all of those things. They're going to do literally every single fucking thing except try to discredit my work, because they can't. W's in the chat for Cynthia. Really appreciate that, Cynthia. Did I get another super chat or something? I think I might have. Hey, thanks, Suzanne, for the super chat. The longer I watch, the more embarrassed I am that I was once a conservative. Yep, that happens, Suzanne. It's okay. Happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us, girl. Don't worry about it. We are up to 130 channel memberships. We haven't even gotten to the best one, though, yet. We haven't even gotten to the best post yet. Oh, so this asshole, because he's coping with the fact that I called him out for stealing my content, he wants to keep going, you're fat and ugly and all that stuff. And guess what? All of his little friends are doing the same thing. Hey, lard ass, all you did was put your shitty logo on a video you saw somewhere else and rip. Chill the fuck out. Well, the thing of it is, are there any conservatives watching this content? Are there any conservatives watching this content? Are there any conservatives that are showing this content to their audience? Are there any conservatives that are taking the time to explain all of this, to research all of these groups, to articulate this information to the public? And then they want to say, all you're doing is spending hours of your life researching this content and watching this content and sharing this content, things we are totally unwilling to do, but you're a fucking lard ass that's just watching other people's content. Literally eat my entire fucking copious ass. Literally eat my entire copious ass, you stupid, lazy motherfuckers. We got a couple more super chats and channel memberships. Cynthia, you are so generous and so amazing. Thank you so much for all your support. Hey, thanks, Charles. You rock, Karlyn. You rock, Charles. I appreciate the super chat. Well, old sub. Holy shit. Old subbed with another 20 gifted channel memberships. Old sub getting us to the halfway point. Old sub, the hero we need so far today. Cynthia's also being a hero. Listen, let's be honest. Everyone who's sending in a channel membership is a hero. We've already welcomed 150 new channel members in today. That is awesome. Already halfway to our goal. We haven't even really started the stream yet. That means 150 more people are going to get to come to not one, but 2 spy streams we have planned for Thursday and Friday, because spy streams, when we go inside a live leftist trading and we watch it, these are only available to supporters on YouTube, Substack, Twitter, wherever you guys want to support. But that's 150 more people who are going to have access to spy stream this coming week, on Thursday and Friday, rather, not even this coming week. Thursday and Friday, when we got 2 spy streams scheduled. You guys rock. Thank you so much for supporting my work. You guys are the best. Hey, Jen. Dr. K, have you discussed space fascism yet? Oh, we'll get to space fascism. We'll get to it. We're going to watch about socialists in space today. I've seen debates about it in entertainment like Star Trek, Star Wars, The Empire, and Spaceballs. Space fascism as entertainment is a fascinating subject. Well, there you go, Jed. Stick around. We're going to do communism in space anyway. W's in the chat for Cynthia. 5 more gifted channel memberships. Cynthia, the queen of the chat. Old Sub is the king, and Cynthia is the queen, at least for today. At least for today. You guys rock. But the best one, and I've saved this one. I have saved this one for you guys. I have saved it so that we can all watch it and enjoy it together. I have not watched what this crazy blonde whore posted on Twitter yet, but we're going to watch it together. Just a college dropout. Thanks for the $5, bro. Yeah, many of us were liberals because Republicans and conservatives didn't do shit to stop Marxists from taking over the system. That's exactly right. They don't do shit. They never do shit. They just lie and post shit on Twitter, and it is so infuriating and ridiculous. I can't even take it. Thank you, NFL Guru W in the chat for you for gifting a channel membership. Really do appreciate it, bro. That's 156. You guys rock. We are totally going to blow this goal out of the water today, all because conservatives stole my content. Hey, thanks, Origami. You know you're doing something right when they start to hate you. I love it when conservatives hate me. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. So, this dumb bitch. You can tell. I haven't even watched this video yet, but you can tell. This woman is just leaning into her fucking outrage feelings, isn't she? Old Sub, Dr. K, show the newbies the ultimate tat. Yo, I gotta get your picture up. Yeah, did you guys know that Old Sub Sailor is such a fucking king? Did you guys know that Old Sub Sailor is such a fucking king that he literally, where is the picture? I'm looking for it. He literally got my plague doctor tattooed on his body. And that's a sick tattoo, bro. That is an awesome fucking tattoo. Old Sub Sailor totally gets the spirit of the plague doctor. He gets why the plague doctor is our logo. He gets why this is the symbol of our work going into plague infested areas. Also, it's just fucking badass. What a fucking legend Old Sub Sailor is. We love you, dude. Dedication. Anyway, let's go back here to this dumb blonde whore. And basically what's happened is after conservatives started stealing my video and posting it all over the internet, I posted the behind the scenes. Of me blatantly saying that I was making this video as a way to trick conservatives, to get them to all over the internet and to steal my content. And that's why I put the watermark on it, so that we could laugh at them. I blatantly said this on my live stream yesterday. Everyone saw it. Everyone agreed. I was literally playing the 4D chess that conservatives think they understand better than me. And the blonde whore is now outraged at me, and she's going to lay into me. She's going to say, so let me get this straight. You clipped a joke about killing kids just to bait conservatives. Yes. Yep. That's exactly what I did. Yep. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well done. You figured it out. Children are not punchlines. They are not props. They are not your engagement strategy. If your idea of content is using dead kid shock to own people online, that says everything. We're not triggered. We're protective. Enjoy your 5 minutes. Now, this person, it should be noted, this person actually has less followers than I do, because I have like something like 124,000 followers. This person only has 108,000 followers. And it's not as though this person really means anything to me, but the idea that this person is more relevant than me is just, well, not realistic. Yo, Andre! $100, Andre? Thank you, bro. I really do appreciate it for all the hard work you do. Since those specific lazy conservatives don't want to help you, not all are lazy to learn socialism language skills to combat the far left communists, but most are. I know because I was a conservative. Andre, you rock, bro. You rock. Thanks so much for the super chat. You are the king of the chat. Everyone W's for Andre. Now, obviously, I responded to this person. And I have to give a hat tip to Mizakan. I stole this from Mizakan. I too occasionally steal content. And when I steal content, I steal it from Mizakan. But I always give him credit. And he, of course, is a king and can do whatever the fuck he wants. I don't really care. But I did indeed steal this meme from Mizakan. And I should have done a hat tip, but I didn't. So my bad. Yo, Hans! Yo, W's in the chat for Hans! Massive victory, bro! 20 channel memberships. Thanks so much. You rule, Hans. Hans is like, I'm getting in on this action. I'm getting in on the owning conservatives by giving Karlyn money action. Yo, Hans with another 10 W's! WWW, you guys rock. I have the best community on the internet. See, because you guys understand. You guys understand. You know why I do this. You know why I do this. So Mizakan made that meme and I posted that. And so, but really what I said was, let me get this straight. I do deep dives into queer Marxism for years. People like you ignore it all. But I post one clickbait clip and you're more outraged at me than you are at the far worse content I've been covering for years. You are why women should not fucking speak. W's in the chat for Cynthia, 10 gifted channel memberships. W, Cynthia, you rock. We love you. We appreciate you. Guys, we are up to, holy shit. We're up to almost 200 fucking channel members. I haven't even started the stream yet. Wow. Wow. I really do. Fucking Hans. Over. 5 gifted channel memberships. W's, Hans. We are over 200 channel memberships already. Holy shit. Holy shit. Will this be the biggest channel membership day in the history of the channel? It could be. But I haven't watched this ranty bitch yet. So do you guys want to watch this woman? Do you guys want to watch this ranty blonde whore complaining about me? 1 in the chat if you want to watch the blonde bimbo complaining. 2 in the chat if you think we should move on to more important things. Let me know. W's in the chat for Origami. 5 gifted channel memberships. Really appreciate it, bro. You rock. You rock. I saved watching this just to do it with you guys. I saved it. So, let's see what the blonde whore has to say.
I guess I'm gonna be that asshole today.
I guess I'm gonna be that asshole today, everyone.
I guess I'm gonna be that asshole today. My turn! So there's this clip that's going viral on X right now of this transformer comedian making a quote-unquote bad joke.
I think we should start killing kids.
Oh, guys, the blonde whore is in the chat right now. No blonde whore. No blonde whore. No. This is all the attention we're giving you, blonde whore. You think we're gonna let you fucking talk on my stream? You are not remotely on our level, you stupid bitch. You are not remote. Hey, blonde whore, I'll make you a deal. Blonde whore, that's your new name, by the way. Blonde whore, I will make you a deal. If you can correctly tell me what the goal of queer Marxism is, then I will let you on the stream. You have 2 minutes to answer. I'm even going to give you extra time. You can even try to go chat GPT that shit, but keep in mind, chat GPT doesn't really know what the fuck they're talking about, and you're not going to understand it anyway because you're far too stupid to understand any of this. So if you can correctly tell me what the goal of queer Marxism is, then and only then will I let you on my stream. So we'll see. To the handbag fund, thank you, Chitalago. You rock. Blonde horse trying to nose in on my super chats. We'll wait to see if that little bitch knows anything. Let's continue. Let's start over again from the beginning, actually. I'm gonna tell you.
I guess I'm gonna be that asshole today. My turn! So there's this clip that's going viral on X right now of this transformer comedian making a quote unquote bad joke.
I think we should start killing kids. And tell me, let us use whatever bathroom they
Yeah,
want.
TikTok.
And like I said, that clip's going viral right now over on X. Okay? But what people didn't see is this. Watch.
We should start killing kids. And tell me, let us use whatever bathroom they want.
Am I about to get the best clip out of context that is going to go completely viral on conservative social media? Is this a gift from God? Am I literally about to get
the blonde whore has ChatGPT'd. Queer Marxism is the academic framework that blends Marxist class analysis with queer theory. You ChatGPT'd that? Wrong, whore, wrong. You see, blonde whore, well, you've been out doing outrage bullshit on Twitter for however long you've been grifting on the conservative influencer space. I've spent the last 3 years of my life studying these people, embedded in their subculture, going undercover at their events. Have you ever gone undercover with the far left, you stupid blonde retard? Have you ever left your fucking computer to actually go undercover with the far left? You claim to be opposed to the far left. People like you claim, no. What you did is ChatGPT. And guess what? You didn't even get the answer right. Let me ask people in my chat. Actually, blonde whore, can you see the chat on my screen right now? I know that you probably aren't smart enough to read, but can you see the chat on my screen right now? Can people in the chat answer the question, what is the goal of queer Marxism? Because blonde whore, I want you to understand that it's not just me saying this. I've been embedded in this subculture for over 3 fucking years. You've been doing. Why are you? I'm not blocking your response. I'm not. I'm literally showing your response on the screen. Guys, what is the goal of queer Marxism so we can educate the blonde whore? It's to abolish capitalism. It's to abolish capitalism. It's to abolish gender. That's another thing, because gender is a construct of capitalism. You know that, blonde whore, that they think gender is a social construct created by capitalism, and that's why they want to abolish it. The goal of queer theory is to abolish capitalism by abolishing gender, to end private property. Ending private property is what capitalism means. Of course, the blonde whore doesn't know that. It's to abolish capitalism. The goal of queer theory is to abolish capitalism, abolish Marxism or gender and capitalism, you stupid fucking cunt. Oh, I know, blonde whore. Oh, I know I'm correct. I know I'm correct. What I'm proving is you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because you're running around doing outrage bullshit because you're not smart enough to do anything else. And the reason you posted this is you didn't know who the fuck you were talking to. So now we're going to watch the rest of your stupid video, which I haven't even seen yet. You keep interrupting. We're going to make fun of you. We're going to mock your stupid, retarded ass on Twitter. Then I'm going to block you, and I'm never going to think about you again. You want to know why? Because you are beneath me. You are beneath me by at least 50 fucking IQ points, if not more. You have no idea the things that I've done to expose the left. You have never done half of the shit that I've done. All you do is and whine and complain on Twitter like the stupid fucking cunt that you are. You are why women should not be allowed to speak on the internet, you dumb bitch. No, I can have a conversation, blonde whore. The issue is you are not smart enough to have a conversation with me. If I tried to sit down and have a conversation with you, you literally wouldn't understand anything that I'm saying, and you wouldn't understand anything that's going on. And P.S., I don't owe you shit. So now we're going to watch the rest of your video. You are not fucking entitled to a conversation with me, you stupid cunt. And we're never going to think about you again because you're below our standards. Yo, W's in the chat for Cynthia. 5 or 10 channel 10 channel memberships. Holy shit. Cynthia upping the ante. Appreciate it, Cynthia. Thanks so much. You rule. What are we up to now? Blonde whore, do you see how much money I'm making off of you guys being retarded on Twitter? Bet you love that, huh? For all the people like you who have stolen my content to try to profit off of me, doing pretty well today, aren't I?
out of context? ever in the history. I don't do this often. Do as I say, don't do as I do.
She even, you know what?
Bullshit.
You know what? This dumb bitch even took time to edit music into the background of her video where she's complaining about the fact that I tricked her because she and her idiot conservative followers are too stupid to understand what's going on.
I fucking hate it. But am I about to get like the best out of context clip ever in the history of this channel that is going to go massively viral on conservative social media? Because they're going to so bad and it's going to get shared so much and I just can't help myself to do this because it's funny.
That young lady's name is Karlyn. And she's super fucking butthurt right now.
I'm super fucking butthurt right now. I'm sorry, who's whining in my chat on Twitter demanding that I bring them on the channel to have a conversation with me? I don't think I'm the one that's super fucking butthurt right now. Also, I'm 45 years old. I love that she's calling me young. I'm 45 years old. I'm 45 years old without makeup on the internet, and I still look younger than this overly made up fucking filtered to all fucking heaven. Or how old are you, honey? Are you like, what, 30 years old and you look older than me and I'm 45? Almost 45. Not quite 45. Almost 45 in April. I'm not quite there yet. Okay, I'm not quite there yet. Yo, Dragon Tail, appreciate it. Hey, blonde whore, can you put that chat GPT into put in English? Your IQ is exposed. IQ is exposed. The butthurt blonde whore's IQ is exposed on the internet.
Social media because they're gonna so bad and it's gonna get shared so much and I just can't.
Yeah, I'm actually 28.
To do this because it's funny.
Yeah, actually,
That young lady.
just hang on. Forget what I said about being almost 45 years old. I'm actually 28, just so you guys know. Just I was having a moment where I it was like a temporary spasm. I'm not actually almost 45 years old. I'm actually 28. You're right.
His name is Karlyn. And she's super fucking butthurt right now. And what is she butthurt about? Not the fact that fucking Transformer / Decepticon made a joke about killing some kids so they can get whatever bathroom they want. But she's butthurt because nobody's giving her the recognition for posting that clickbait. You heard what I said. She's not upset about what was said. Just the fact that she's not getting the recognition.
You dumb blonde whore. Do you know that I've been exposing this shit for years and people like you only come around when you're pissed off that I called out your asses for being fucking retarded on Twitter? Again, I have to ask, just because the blonde whore is in my chat right now, how many times have you gone undercover with the far left? Blonde whore, how many times have you gone undercover with the far left? How many times have you gone undercover with the far left? How many times have you gone undercover with the far left? This is a really simple question. It's probably going to be 0, even though you're going to try to make up some excuse to act like you've actually done something other than whine and complain. Oh, you've gone undercover twice? Do you have evidence of that, you stupid whore? I don't believe you for one red second. This blonde whore probably went to the No Kings March, and she believes that the No Kings are the far left, and so she's like, I went undercover at a No Kings March. You dumb bitch. We're not talking about the No Kings protest. We're talking about the actual. See, look, I went to a No Kings protest. We're not talking about that, you dumb bitch. We're talking about the actual far left, not the No Kings people. Those are not the far left. See, you're so dumb you don't even know the difference. So dumb you don't even know the difference between No Kings and the actual far left. Slightly out of your depth, you stupid cunt.
Well, baby girl, I'll give you the recognition all
Baby
day long,
girl.
and I'm going to push it even further and ask you, how the fuck do you think that's funny? Because you think you're going to get...
I think that you're funny, you dumb bitch. I think the outrage over people being pissed off that I called out all your conservative retard influencers for stealing my content. I think the fact that you idiots are more pissed off about the fact that I tricked you than you are about anything the far left does. I think that's really funny, you stupid bitch. Yeah, exactly. So fucking cringe. You want to know why the left is winning? People like this. Women like this who don't keep their fucking mouths shut. That is why the left is winning. People like this explicitly. April 13th, the next No Kings is on March 28th. There's going to be stuff there's going to be a whole bunch of shit between the rest of the year. We'll talk about that another day, but the next No Kings I think is on March 28th. You went to a protest alone? I went to a single protest. Chris has actually done shit with the far left. You went to a Bernie Sanders rally? Did you wear a Feel the Burn t-shirt to that Bernie Sanders rally? Were you undercover with the left at that Bernie Sanders rally? Oh, my birthday? My birthday? Oh, my birthday's April 12th. Yeah, April 12th. Aries, the best sign. The best. Am I doing the Save the Children March? No, you dumb bitch. I focus on the left, not conservative grift and bullshit. That's your area. You are the conservative grifter, and you will have nothing to do as soon as Trump leaves. I cannot wait for Trump to leave office, so all you people just shut the fuck up and go away finally.
Something on the conservatives? Let's just blow past the fact of what the fuck that damn thing just said. That joke that they just made. You're going to refer to it as out of context. Bitch, I don't know in what fucking reality right now you're living in.
Look at all the feelings.
Ain't nobody
Look at all the outrage feelings.
Something else. So everyone, please go give Karlyn some the attention that she is so starving for.
Yes, please give me the attention that I'm starving for. We got 214 new channel members today. We've already got a fuck ton of money in super chats. I'm getting a new luxury purse out of today. I'm getting a new, maybe I'll even buy my husband something nice. Maybe I'll even do that. We'll have to see. Ray over on Rumble, the poster child of what sniffing glue will do to you. Yeah, right here. Right here. Guys, please give me all the attention for tricking conservatives on Twitter to get them to share clickbait content to point out they're a bunch of grifting losers on the internet. Yeah, I will. I will add it to the 30 other luxury handbags I have in my collection right now, you dumb bitch. You wish you had a purse collection like I do.
Let's go give Karlyn all the attention that she is begging for.
Oh, wait. Stu Studio clipped my stuff and shared it? I'm shocked at that. Yeah, Stu is a Zionist propagandist. We ignore Stu Studio. And if I feel like stealing Stu Studio's content in the future, I sure will. Putin is big mad. Big mad. That dumb bitch is big mad. Anyway.
I guess I'm gonna be that asshole.
Anyway. Now that we're done with her, boop. Bye. Never to be heard from again. If the blonde bimbo is our leader, I ask that the Marxists be nice to me, then y'all take over. Yeah. This is... Listen. Oh, God, that bitch is still in my fucking comments. It's like when you block someone, they don't actually just get taken out of your fucking chat. You actually have to go into the chat and block them there, too. Bye. You can't chat in anymore, blonde whore. Goodbye. It's over. So I say that this is a very successful social experiment. I think that I achieved the goals that I had set out for this and then some. I think that I exposed exactly what we can expect from the conservative influencer class. And you know, if you guys didn't believe me about how much these people suck before, I hope you believe me now. Yeah, she's gonna go tweet about me now, make another video crying and complaining on the internet because I blocked her stupid ass. Oh no. So, I want to thank everyone for doing this little social experiment with me. It's been super fun. Listen, people I know are pissed off on my behalf, but I knew the conservative grifters were going to do this. I told you the conservative grifters were going to do this. And it is what it is, guys. You cannot control conservative retards from stealing things and pretending that they found it. You cannot stop this. I've known this for years and years and years. But what we can do is expose them and talk about what they do. Because in order to defeat the left, we have to go through the conservative right. Does everyone understand this now? The biggest enemy we currently have is not actually the far left. because we can't even begin to deal with the far left until we go right the fuck through the conservative right. And this is why it is so important that we build an army of people who actually care about the real shit, that are pushing this information out there. The only way we are able to go through the conservative right is if we build an unstoppable force that calls out their fucking bullshit on Twitter and makes this content go viral on Twitter all the time ourselves, outside of their fucking ecosystem. That is the only way these people listen. Twitter is the only thing they care about. Twitter is their god. It is their master. It is their fucking outrage addiction. The only way that we can actually even begin to educate the masses about what the left is saying and what the left is doing is if we go directly fucking through the conservative right. And that's just the way it is. Quick question. Have you checked out Forward Observer? No. Nope. Different. Wrong. Bad information. Bad analysis. Have never been impressed with a single thing I've seen come out of that guy. So no. I have looked at it. I've never been impressed by it. Anyway. Guys, guess what? Where do I even go from here? Where do I even go? Guess what? If you're new to my work and you want to get caught up on where things are, if you're like, Karlyn, I literally just found you and all this sounds crazy. I know, I get it. But if you're new to my work, the very best thing you can do is make sure you are subscribed to my Substack. That is Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com. It is completely free to subscribe to my Substack. If you want to donate money in the form of an $8 a month or $80 a year, you can do that through Substack. I really appreciate everyone who is supporting my work on Substack. It is my best monthly, reliable income that I have. Of course, I appreciate everyone donating channel memberships, sending super chats on YouTube as well. You guys all make it possible for me to do what I do. If you are new to my work, what I want you to do is go to the Substack and go to this one, new to my work, start here. And basically, I want you to watch this re-education class. It's about a 90-minute video breaking down the language of the far left. I walk you through over a dozen clips from real leftist trainings that we've recorded. Conservatives want to shit on the fact that I record leftist trainings. Oh, I've got a massive archive of leftist content. We have a massive data set that we are using to analyze and expose the far left in America. And you can get the best crash course in that data set by watching the Re-Education Masterclass, an introduction to the far left. And that will walk you through over a dozen clips from real leftist trainings where I am demonstrating the language that they use. You can also watch the 4-hour How to Speak Socialist class. It goes much more in depth into all the topics. You can also watch my introduction to Queer Marxism, the left's most dystopian ideology, which is about an hour-long lecture I did about queer Marxism specifically. Again, that is over on my Substack. That is Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com. Click on this, new to my work. Start there, and you will find all the information. And I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Puddin' should just tuck tail and run before digging the hole deeper. Here's 5 in her name. I have secondhand embarrassment. Spoo the cat says hello and sends her 5 as well. Hey, thanks, Fosnots. I really appreciate that. Hey, thanks, Core. I'm conservative, right? Happy Tuesday. Well, Core, we appreciate you being here. You're an awesome supporter. Listen, if you're not a stupid conservative, I don't mind if you're here. Anyway, you guys want to talk about socialists and space? Now, we will be doing State of the Union coverage later, okay? And I thought about doing a whole State of the Union pregame. But frankly, I'd just rather watch this. This is a session from the Socialism 2025 conference. And it is literally about how socialists want to take over space and make space socialist. Outer space, as in Elon Musk territory, okay? Now, the reason I want to watch this is, first of all, we have a lot of new people on the channel. We did full coverage of the Socialism Conference back in, when was it? Was that July? Back last year in July when this actually happened. We covered this live, but when we covered it live at the Socialism Conference, do you remember it? We were watching this video live. And in the middle of us watching it, the Socialism Conference privated the video. So literally, we were like halfway through this presentation. We were like, holy shit, this presentation is fucking crazy. And we were covering it live at the time. And then the fucking conference organizers privated the video as we were watching it, and they took away our access to it. And so we never really got to have a full viewing of this video. I think we went back and watched part of it later. But like, I want to watch this presentation from start to finish, because if I remember correctly, this presentation was fucking nuts. And there's a lot of new people who have joined us on the channel since we did this coverage. And I thought that you guys would all enjoy, before we have to sit down and start drinking to watch the State of the Union, I thought that you guys would all enjoy learning about the socialist plans for space. 1 in the chat if you want to watch Socialists in Outer Space. 2 in the chat if you think this sounds dumb. Cord, thanks for the super chat. Space is the last hope to escape the far left. We can't let them take space too. Yeah, this is the problem. This is the problem. Socialists are so winning on Earth that they're actually thinking about how do they take over space. And I also just thought, I'm like, listen, I'm showing people content on the far left. No one else is showing them. Just imagine how many conservative influencers are going to steal this content tomorrow because they didn't know about it until I was showing it on the internet. Just saying. So guys, thank you so much for all the support you've given me so far. We're actually up to 216 new channel members. That is fucking awesome. What a great way to start off the stream. I would like to hit 300 new channel members before the end of the day. We've got a long time to do it, so plenty of time. I fully believe we can hit this amazing goal. But thank you guys so much for all the channel memberships you've donated so far. Thank you so much for all the super chats. I really do think I have the best community on the internet. I feel so fucking blessed to be where I am right now. I really do, guys. Can I just take a moment? We're going to have a sentimental moment. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this for years when people have been stealing my content and saying it's theirs. I almost had to quit entirely because of the amount of content theft that I've had to endure over the last several years. And to have so many people today that are financially supporting my work, it makes it so much easier to be able to do this. It's never been about money for me. If it was about money, to be really serious for a second, if it was about money, I would just do corporate training. I could make way more money doing corporate training in organizational psychology than I can ever make as a socialism streamer on the internet. Like, it's not even funny how much money I used to make doing corporate training. If it was all about money, I would have gone back to that a long time ago. I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in what this community is doing. I believe we're exposing things that no one else is looking at. And the only way I can do this is if people fund my work. And it's been a fight for years and years and years and years and years to get people to fund my work. I haven't been on a vacation in 6 years. I have not been on a vacation in 6 years. There are many years that cash was so tight in my house because of how much of a struggle it was that I went years basically without buying new clothes. I went years basically without, buying new, just basic stuff around that. We restricted, everything was like basic needs for a long ass time. And only in the last 9 months has this become a viable financial thing. I almost quit last year because I said, I truly don't know if I can make this work financially. I'm digging into my savings. I'm eating through all that. I don't know if there's enough interest on the internet for me to keep doing this. Really, that was the question. It was like, is there even a market for what I do on the internet? Are there even people who will fund what I do? Because I was this close to quitting. And you can go back and watch the videos where I'm trying to figure this out. And I'm like desperate to try to figure this out. And something clicked in June of last year with the riots. And I got a whole bunch of new supporters to my channel. And I got people coming back who are saying, holy shit, Karlyn, you were right all along and we didn't want to listen. And that's just been the constant theme over the past 9 months or so. And it's never been about the money for me. I knew I was never going to get rich doing this. But I got to tell you guys, the amount of support that you guys have been giving me, it makes it so much easier. that I don't have to worry, that I don't have to think, do I need to go out and get a consulting job? That I don't have to worry about, like, I can literally just get up and spend my time doing as much socialism research and writing books and creating content and doing and teaching as many people as possible and providing as much work as possible free for everyone. I can literally spend all my time doing this because you guys are allowing me to do it. And I know we're making fun of conservatives, and I know that we're demonstrating a point that, you know, that they steal content and they make it difficult for everyone. But I feel so lucky and so blessed to have the community I have. And I feel so lucky and so blessed that you guys are supporting my work and that we brought people in that are willing to fund it. And we're going to do some amazing things. And I'm going to do my very best to lead as much as I can. I never wanted to be in this position, but I will do the best I can. But I have the best community on the internet. I really do believe that. And I appreciate you guys. And I love you guys. And thank you for letting me do it. It really is awesome. It really is awesome. Let me just go through a couple of super chats real quick, and then we're going to do communists in space. You want some crazy commie space talk? All right, we'll do that. Thanks for being a member of the channel for 2 months. Thanks for being a member of the channel for 3 months, Mama. Let's send them to space. Well, maybe not after this presentation. You know, maybe not. Hey, Jen, do you think the IS fans are the Jen? I don't, bro. That's a question for my husband, Jen. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. My husband is into Star Wars. I am not. But thank you so much for the super chat. W's in the chat for dying suddenly. 5 gifted channel memberships. I can't believe I used to be one of those idiots. You know, we all go through phases. I used to be a Democrat. Listen, I used to be a Democrat. Okay? We all have our moments. We wake up. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Thanks for being a member of the channel. Yo! W's to Cynthia, 20 channel memberships. Holy shit. W's just a college dropout, 5 channel memberships. You guys rule. You guys are the best. You found your niche and have cultivated this site. I'm happy to be a small part of it. I'm so happy you're here, Suzanne. Thanks so much. We got the super sticker from username. Thank you so much, bro. I really do appreciate it. Dub, welcome to the channel, bro. Welcome to the cult. We appreciate you. All right. Now that we're done getting emotional, and I got to update the channel members. Let's see. 147 new fucking channel members. Holy shit. It's going to be an all-time record today. All-time record. How awesome. All right, guys, we're getting into the main event. Mount the like button if you have not already. We're going to learn about socialists taking over space.
Started here. I'm sure we'll still have people trailing in and joining us as the session goes on. But I have this little preamble that I know that everybody, I won't make you recite it, but you probably could at this point. So welcome. It's great to have you here at the Socialism Conference. All participants play a role in keeping each other safe and making sure that folks feel supported and comfortable over the conference weekend. Towards that end, I'm sharing a couple reminders. First, remember that conference attendees are required to wear masks while indoors in conference spaces. Speakers from the front of the session may remove their masks in order to deliver their presentations while actively speaking. Audience members, you're all looking great and you are still required to wear those masks, but you wear them very well. And please keep them on when you're asking questions and making comments.
That's the Karlyn disclaimer.
Second, please make sure to wear your conference badge throughout the weekend and respect the badge checkers. At the door of the meeting rooms, don't give them any shit. They are part of our community safety plans, and they are there to support us all having a safe conference. And last but not least, keep in mind that the Socialism Conference aims to be a space that encourages genuine learning, discussion, and debate amongst folks across the left. We ask that all participants help us foster a culture where folks feel comfortable expressing questions and sharing different points.
This was streamed live on back in July 2025.
Of you. All participants should keep in mind that the conference is a relatively open space and take that into account when you decide what to share in your contributions during the sessions.
That's for people who are new. That's the Karlyn disclaimer. They started doing that disclaimer at this conference after I went undercover at this conference for 4 days back in 2023, and I recorded all their asses and I released all those recordings on the internet. And so in 2024 and then in 2025, they started reminding people, they're like, people might be recording you at this conference. So we call that the Karlyn disclaimer. That was implemented after I went undercover at their conference, recorded all their shit and released it publicly. And then they started doing that disclaimer the very next year. Yeah, the Karlyn effect.
And sharing different points of view. All participants should keep in mind that the conference is a relatively open space and take that into account when you decide what to share in your contributions during the sessions. And for this room in particular, I'll point out that the session is being live streamed. So welcome not only to people who are in the room, but people who are joining us online. Keep that in mind as we move into the discussion part of the session, that your questions and comments are also going out over the internet as well. Thank you for being here. This session I'm really excited about because I attended Socialism for the first time last year, and I walked around and I was like, this is so cool,
exactly.
but there's so little stuff about like space or technology more broadly. And so I was really excited when Chanda, my wonderful friend here, who you will meet momentarily, agreed to do this session with me. And also that the conference was accepted the session to begin with. So just a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to offer some remarks at the beginning. I'm going to talk a little bit. Chanda's going to talk a little bit. And then we have lots of time for discussion and questions. We invite you, because this is like an unfamiliar topic, I think, for a lot of people in the world broadly. We're going to invite you to ask like clarification questions if they come up while you are listening, in addition to the fact that we have this like ample time for Q&A discussion, your thoughts, etc. Any questions before I keep going? Okay. All right. So nice to meet you. We're going to do a couple intros first. My name is Lucianne Walkowicz. I go usually by Lulu, and I'm an astronomer, movement artist, and educator based here in Chicago. I am one of the co-stewards of a space called Liberation Landing, which is a small campus of buildings, which we like to think of as an abolitionist liberatory ecosystem of folks who are organizing in the city. Some of you may know it through it being the location of the Breathing Room, which is home to the Let Us Breathe collective. It is also home to Sukasa, which has a long history of resistance to state violence. If you're local and or if you're planning on coming through Chicago and you're interested in collaborating or having space, we do a number of political education programs, mutual aid programs, etc. We're always looking for more people to help us hold the campus up and live together. And I see a lot of comrades who have been involved in the room, which is awesome, but we're always open to more. So please feel free to come up and talk with me at any point during the conference. I'll be here all weekend. My background in sort of academic background and research background is in astronomy. A lot of the work that I've done has been around questions of where we find life in the universe. But I also work and am interested in questions about the social impacts of outer space and the way that we think about exploring and learning about the universe beyond us. So I will leave it there and give Chanda a moment to introduce herself.
So first of all, thank you for hosting, Lulu, and for doing a lot of the labor in getting the session put together and for being the host. So I'm Chanda Prescott-Weinstein. I am a theoretical physicist with a background in astrophysics and cosmology. I mostly focus my research on searches for dark matter. I'm also a writer, and I'm interested in, generally speaking, in science communication, communicating about the cosmos and astrophysics with the general public, and communicating from the perspective of someone who was raised in the movement. So I'm, I guess, what people will call a movement baby. And so everything that I do in physics and in cosmology comes from the perspective of thinking about what is my relationship to the communities that raised me, what is my accountability to the communities that I come from, So I also want to say that while this is happening, I grew up in East LA. And so I'm sure there's been plenty of discussion at the various sessions people have been at about the kidnappings and the disappearances that are happening. So for me, this is a very personal issue. It's not a hypothetical issue. This is happening to people on the streets where I grew up. So I just want to acknowledge that even as we get the opportunity to sit and think about the world that we want to build, from my point of view, these questions that we're going to talk about in this session about our relationship to the space and how we think about the night sky and the cosmos as part of our leftist imagination are really rooted.
Thinking about the cosmos as part of our leftist imagination.
About our relationship to the space and how we think about the night sky and the cosmos as part of our leftist imagination are really rooted to the material question of what it means to build a world where these kinds of kidnappings do not happen, and a world where borders are a thing of the past. So I guess I think the last thing I'm supposed to say.
So socialists want to use space to build a socialist utopia in an environment where borders do not exist because it's space.
Is that I have written a book, The Disordered Cosmos, a journey into dark matter, space-time, and dreams deferred. And you can find that in the bookstore. And I'm also the author of 2 upcoming books, The Edge of Space-Time, which is coming out next spring, which is really an argument for why we should have a relationship to the cosmos that has nothing to do with capitalism. Because the universe is too fucking fabulous for capitalism, y'all.
The universe is too fabulous for capitalism. This is real, guys. I hope everyone knows it. This is real. This actually happened at a socialist conference back in July. This woman has written multiple books about making space socialist. This is not parody. This is not satire. This is a serious discussion. Again.
Space-Time, which is coming out next spring, which is really an argument for why we should have a relationship to the cosmos that has nothing to do with capitalism.
I appreciate
because the universe is too fucking fabulous for capitalism, y'all.
Yep.
And then after that will be The Cosmos is a Black Aesthetic, and I'm happy to chat with people about that.
The Cosmos
about that
is a
academic
Black
book afterwards.
Aesthetic.
But first, we're going to hear some remarks from Lulu, and then I will talk to you all a little bit. And then I hope people will start thinking about their questions and write them down. It's okay if talking about this, you feel nervous, you feel like you don't have the right words. There's no such thing as a stupid question, just easy questions, hard questions, and questions we might bullshit you about the answers to. Probably won't, though. We'll probably tell the truth. Okay. On that note.
And including questions that we might not know the answers to, right? I think one of the things that I love about like an abolitionist framework, right, is that it is a very fundamentally creative framework. It is something where, all of us, like whether that word describes you or whether you're just broadly on the left, we're talking about creating a universe that includes all of us in ways that this universe does not currently, but not because of any universal laws. Those are the laws of human beings. So anyway, so the premise of this session is that the left should take space, as in outer space, very seriously as a site of political possibility.
The left should take outer space very seriously as a site of political possibility. Pause. Jen, thanks for the super chat. Dr. K, is your husband excited about humans returning to the moon in April? I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it, Jen. I wonder who will film the new footage since Stanley Kubrick is very dead. Yes, I believe we went to the moon in 1969. I don't know anything about that, Jen, but I will ask my husband how he feels about it. Really appreciate the super chat, though. Thank you. Again, please.
So the premise of this session is that the left should take space, as in outer space, very seriously as a site of political possibility. And something that I hope to maybe convince you of or open your mind to in the course of my own remarks is not only that space is a site of possibility, but that it is also a place that is quite full of political realities that have direct consequences for the well-being and liberation of people here on this planet, planet Earth, right now. So not just in the future, which, you know, as the title of this session suggests, I really hope that we can act to reclaim, but really like in the here and now. And this is something that has been happening throughout our history. So I want to start off by talking a little bit about where space actually is, because something that I learn a lot about from talking with other people is that I run into the idea that that space is something that is very far away, that it's like very out there. And I think that's quite natural, right? Because, you know, for sure, like space not only has real our planet Earth, and there's places on our planet that seem very far away, but space also contains like trillions of stars and other galaxies and black holes and other planets. And by definition, it is home
and dark matter
like a lot of dark matter. Yeah, and everything that exists, right? Including this planet. And it is called outer space because it is out there. But actually, space is really not far away at all. It is much closer than you think it is. So I'd like you to join me on a thought experiment. I would like you to imagine that you have a magical car. This is a magical car. It can also be a magical bike for those of you who are not car-centric, a magical train, if you will. And that whatever it is, you can drive it straight up off of the earth, just straight up from where you're sitting. If you did that at below the highway speed limit, you would be in space in less than an hour. So think about that for a second. Not even speeding. You don't have to speed at all. You don't have to blast off. If you could just drive up at a little under the highway speed limit, you would be there in less than an hour's drive. Now, the question of like when you reach space is a little bit artificial. So the Earth's atmosphere is not a dome. If you think that the Earth's atmosphere is a dome, we have other problems, and you should see me after class. We can talk about it. But there's no defined boundary, right? There's no like sign that says now leaving Earth and now entering space or anything like that. And this is something that people have argued about over the course of history, because as you go into space and higher in the altitude in the atmosphere, and as you're leaving the surface of the Earth, it's kind of just like if you go to high altitude on mountains, you know, the atmosphere just becomes thinner as you go. And so one of the things that people have argued over and that human beings have found to be very convenient is to define a particular altitude that they say is the boundary of space. So that's often called the von Karman line, and it's about 62 miles above sea level, which is roughly 100 kilometers for those of you on the metric system. So for reference, when you hear about space tourism, like a lot of these like Blue Origin flights that are taking celebrities to space recently that we've all heard about, I think, those go to an altitude that's just over like 105 kilometers. So 5 kilometers or 2-ish miles into space. Put that in more local terms, since I'm a local person, I will say that when I got my first COVID vaccine, there was much less demand in Wisconsin for the vaccine than there was in the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
So I drove over the border to a Sam's Club.
Actually, unironically, probably yes. The boundaries of space were created by capitalism and the scientific method. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To get my first dose of the COVID vaccine, and I entered Wisconsin at roughly the same distance that Katy Perry went to space. Maybe that helps it land a little bit more for you, maybe not. So space is not like physically that far away. But what's more important about that than its physical distance is that the distance of its impact for you, not only as human beings, but
Sarah Fields is such an intellectually honest journalist that she blocks people for posting primary source evidence in her replies. How nice of her. You hit your goal. Congratulations, Steve. Well done.
But for you as organizers is that there really is no distance at all. Most of you probably used a mapping function
Straight up
of some
smoke a
sort
joint?
to find
Good
your way
idea.
here, right? To find your way either through the city of Chicago or maybe to the airport or just to the McCormick Center. And that ability to precisely map your location and use it for navigation relies, as you probably know, on GPS, which is provided by satellites that are owned by the US government and operated by the Air Force. At the moment, all that GPS capability comes from 31 satellites, at least for the US constellation. Other countries and conglomerations of countries own their own GPS satellites as well. Now, these days, the regions of space around Earth, which astronomers usually refer to as orbits, are crowded by a lot more than those 30 satellites. And those satellites are engaged in a wide variety of activities, from the relatively innocuous or even sometimes helpful in the case of Earth-based observations and things that tell us about, for example, climate change. But also on the end of that the other end of that spectrum is that some of them are engaged in things that are quite nefarious. And these satellites also orbit at a lot of different distances, with the most crowded region these days being something called low Earth orbit, also known as LEO to his friends. And LEO is anywhere that is technically in space, so over that 62 miles off of the Earth or 100-kilometer line, out to about 1,200 miles or so. Now, a lot of the satellites that are currently up there in LEO are from Elon Musk's company SpaceX's project called Starlink, which I will talk more extensively about in a little bit, which has been, since 2019, launching huge quantities of satellites into this orbit, which is, in the case of those satellites, they're about 340 miles off of the surface of the Earth. So again, not that far at all. Okay. So that's a little bit about where space is, but I also want to talk a little bit about what space is.
Exactly, Andre. Private property ownership satellites. Exactly. Appreciate the super chat. Hey, Prita, I saw you posting over on Twitter. Elon posted he's populating the moon in 5 years. First to live anywhere always sets the new government. The left definitely could get the funds for flights, so they could make space Marxist first. You know, this is something that Elon Musk is going to have to fix. I don't have the ability to stop the socialists from colonizing space. Elon Musk needs to step the fuck up, stop kissing the ass of the Republicans, and actually do something productive, which is, prevent space from being colonized by socialists. That would be really great. Thanks, Britta, for the super chat. I appreciate it.
Because I've just told you that it's like everything that exists. Chanda threw dark matter into the mix. And all of that, I think, if you don't spend all day thinking about it, like the two people up here, can sound a little esoteric, right? And it makes space sound very huge and incomprehensible.
These are Marc Jacobs sunglasses. I got them off of Nano TV on Whatnot. Whatnot being the greatest app of all time. I've seen these glasses come up again on Nano TV. Nano TV does a lot of sunglass episodes, and I've seen they do a lot of Marc Jacobs. I've actually got a couple of pairs of their Marc Jacobs sunglasses, though. I think that's where I got them if you're looking for them.
And it is huge.
They're cool, though.
But it
I love these.
Definitely
These are
can be comprehended. I promise you. So to put it simply, and to paraphrase Sun Ra, who I think Chanda will probably touch on, or who certainly you could ask about Sun Ra a lot, space is a place, or rather space is all of the places of which the Earth is one. And the places in space that we explore with telescopes, or like Mars, that are places we hear people talking about actually going to, all of these are physical locations. And it's very easy to look at images of space with all of their beauty and grandeur, and how, generally speaking, they might make us feel very small. And so it's very easy to forget that, given, maybe a technical challenge or two or three or a lot, those are all places that humans could have been or could be. And there's no real specific reason that we're in this place and not another place. Or if there is, we have at the moment only an idea of factors that have contributed to us being here on this planet, but we don't know exactly why. So aside from being a physical place, space is also a metaphorical location. It's a place that has geography in our minds, right? And the cultural function of space has really varied from culture to culture, and also like through time. Cultures aren't fixed, obviously, they evolve. And something that I think we deal with presently that has been like a recurring theme, particularly in the modern day, is that space really functions as this kind of...
Hang on. I know you mean well, but you have got to stop doing this. Liberals are not the same as socialists. Socialists hate liberals. No socialists and liberals are not friends. No socialists don't vote for liberals. Liberals don't vote for socialists. They're two completely different things. I know you're not trying to you're just making a joke. I get it. But we have got to start separating liberals from socialists, because every time you guys call these people socialists, you are running cover for the far left. So please cut that shit out.
Projection screen that we use for playing out ideas about the future. So because of this wonderful conference setting, I'll give you one of my favorite pieces of leftist history is that imagination about space is actually how we got blood transfusions. So today, blood transfusions are a medical therapy that saves and has saved many lives around the world. But at the turn of the last century, the century before this one rather, there was a Bolshevik party member named Alexander Bogdanov who wrote a book called Red Star. And Red Star is about an Earthling that goes to Mars, and this Earthling meets the Martians and discovers that they are capable of having a more perfectly communal society by exchanging blood with each other.
Oh, Sarah,
after the revolution, Bogdanov proposed a medical center to study his idea of putting blood exchanges into practice, something that he'd already been messing around with at home. And so he was granted this medical institution. And this was like really before, like if you think back, it was really kind of before people fully understood like bloodborne pathogens or like blood types. And he did eventually contract like a disease and die of his own experiments, but they laid the foundations for blood transfusions as a science. They are why they exist. So we have this life-saving treatment just because of somebody's imagination about space. So that transition from science fiction to science reality is one that we really see over and over again, because people have long realized that images of space are very, very powerful vectors of propaganda. And one of the people who deserves a tremendous amount of credit for the United States government having popular support for putting human beings into space, you know, a program which I think we can all recognize, regardless of whether you feel like this was a giant leap for humankind, et cetera. I think we can also readily hold as well that this was a piece of Cold War geopolitical maneuvering, right, that needed to have support in the public. So one of the people that made that happen was actually not a scientist or an engineer. He was a painter. And his name was Chesley Bonestell. He's often referred to as the father of space art. And he collaborated with the scientists and engineers who were working on technologies to put human beings in space on a series of paintings that were published in Collier's magazine. These paintings were the first places where people who were not engaged in any of that science or engineering encountered these very vibrant images of people living and working on the moon and the surfaces of other worlds. And the series had very, very wide distribution. So really, this was hugely influential in helping the average person picture what it would be like for humans to stand on land of a world that was not the Earth. Now, today, we have a lot more than paintings. Over the past several decades, right, missions to, for example, the surface of Mars have produced what are essentially the clearest examples of landscape photography of another world. And those images are really powerful, and their viewpoint invites us to think about people standing there, to imagine ourselves standing there. And to distinguish those from some other more problematic visions that I will talk about in a moment, I want us to be clear that those of you in the room who are US taxpayers paid for those landscape images of Mars, right? Those landscapes are not just aesthetically beautiful. They are bonus content from these missions that are there to study the planet. Now, Mars is a sovereign world. It has its own history, a history that is as long and complex as our own planet's. And today, it is a absolutely hellish environment that I would gladly send Elon Musk on a one-way trip to if his body would not have catastrophic consequences for its environment and damage the ecosystem. But the temptation is there.
Wow.
All jokes aside, due to some factors that you can ask me about like later if you're curious, Mars really has a lot to tell us about the history and origins of life in the universe, as well as how planets move through being a place that is a hospitable environment through climate change to become a place that is inhospitable to life. And it was the United States' public people-funded space program that did that. And I think that there's a lot that can be
for people who just joined. This is a presentation that happened at the Socialism 2025 conference. That was a conference that took place last July in Chicago, hosted by Haymarket Books, who are the largest socialist book publisher in the United States. This is a serious presentation at this conference in which socialists were talking about how to make space socialist to advance leftist utopia in space.
Different about NASA, and certainly I think I will say that I can hold my critiques of big federal agencies and the US government in the same hands as I hold the resistance to shunting every possible human activity into the sphere of privatized capital machinery. Right? So
privatized capital machinery. The definition of capitalism is private property ownership. That is what they're talking about when they're saying that. That's what they want to abolish.
Let's dive deeper for a moment into these political dimensions of space and what their real world, like earthbound direct impacts are for all of us. So as I mentioned, space is this very powerful delivery tool for propaganda. It has broadly embraced associations with visions of the future and with science and technological progress. And the language that we most commonly hear when used to talk about space is very, very heavily colonial. And can be literally the words like space colonization. It can also be
space colonization. Okay, people want me to read the laptops or the laptop stickers. I don't really see anything like, I mean, I'm sure there's socialist stuff on there, but I don't really see anything that I'm like is jumping out at me as like overtly like off.
Here, when used to talk about space, is very, very heavily colonial. And that can be literally the words like space colonization. It can also be things like framing space as a frontier. It can be discussing space as a place where humankind has some sort of manifest destiny to go. And I don't want to brush aside the work of many people, the scholarship that has been done by, for example, Chanda, also by Indigenous scholars, a bit by myself to problematize this language. But I will say that it remains the dominant palette that people reach for when they try to paint a picture of space and by extension, a picture of the future. And I think that while there is a broader awareness of like the issues in using that language and how the—
Hang on. I know I'm supposed to take them seriously, but this presentation is a whole new level of difficult for me. What you take from this is learning their language, learning how they're using the words, learning what their ideas are, learning how they think about different things. Socialists and the left use science fiction as a way to kind of create a vision for their utopian society. Now, that may sound silly, but you cannot achieve something that you cannot vision. And so they utilize these things in order to say, here is what's possible. By saying here is what's possible, that motivates people to continue organizing and doing all of the day-to-day stuff they need to do to overthrow the government, abolish capitalism, create their Marxist utopia. But what you have to understand is they really believe that they can make a socialist utopian environment in space where there are no borders and there is no climate change and everything is just perfect. This is about learning how these people think. You don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with them, but you have to learn how to detach from how you feel about it to really go inside their heads and understand how they perceive the world. I hope that helps.
those themes infiltrate the way that we think about space in the future. Unfortunately, the primary effect of that awareness.
Thanks, Jen, for the super chat. If you guys haven't found a movie for the next Sunday's movie night, I know Jennifer has a movie, I just forget what it is. You should watch Elysium. That's a good movie. I enjoy that one. It would be good to bring back the topic of classism and socialism to Earth and space. Well, Elysium, I don't know. Like, I enjoyed Elysium. I think it's a good movie, but all movie requests have to go through Jennifer. I don't pick out the movies, but I do appreciate the super chat, Jen. Thanks so much.
Has been that people now reach for wanting to do better by picking euphemisms, right? And for example, like one of the euphemisms that gets used all the time is the word settlement, which many of you, I'm sure, will recognize as having its own association.
Jennifer's watching fucking Dune. Is that why movie night is starting early? Are they doing Dune? Oh, Tron. That's what I thought. I thought it was Tron. Fucking Tron. Am I going to have to take mushrooms before the next movie night? Do I even have mushrooms? Do I have... All right, we're watching Tron for movie night. I think Jennifer is starting early, too. Tron double feature.
With the colonization of Palestine by Israel. So...
See, the colonization of Palestine by Israel. Okay, everyone move on from Tron. The colonization of Palestine by Israel. These are the types of things we listen for. This tells you what the leftist mindset is. The reason they are on the side of the Palestinians is they believe Palestine was colonized by Israel. Israel are the settler colonists who stole the land from the Palestinians. That's what colonization means. Colonization means taking land that was previously under the collective caretakership of the indigenous people and privatizing it under the oppressive force of capitalism and oppressing the indigenous people who previously were the caretakers of the land. That's why the left is in favor of Palestine. It has nothing to do with Israel being Jewish, has nothing to do with anti-Semitism, has nothing to do with Palestinians being Muslim, has nothing to do with that. That's a conservative obsession. That's not a left-wing reality. The reason the left supports Palestine is because Israel colonized the land. This is what they believe. And they believe the Palestinians are the oppressed people under the evil capitalist oppressors. Nope, that's not what that means. No. That's not correct at all, actually.
Right? And for example, like one of the euphemisms that gets used all the time is the word settlement, which many of you, I'm sure, will recognize as having its own associations with the colonization of Palestine by Israel. So I think it's important that we often recognize that this colonial language used to describe people's plans for space is actually accurate. It is the description of what they would like to and are planning to do. And people listening to this talk, you know, I'm sure you're painfully aware of Elon Musk. Welcome to my world. But maybe you haven't heard of, for example, Bob Zubrin. Bob Zubrin is an aerospace engineer who in the mid-90s wrote a book called The Case for Mars. This detailed his ideas for colonizing Mars. I think that is the appropriate verb in use there. And many people who are curious about space, or even space scientists themselves, read this book and were inspired by it. Now, Zubrin went on to found the Mars Society, which advocates for colonization of Mars and investigations of Mars, but also human presence there. They even operate a research center that does quite a lot of like astrobiology or life in the universe research called the Mars Desert Research Station. And it was by talking about Mars colonization that Zubrin gained prominence. Now today, people who are familiar with the Mars Society or Zubrin's writing on Mars have usually not looked at the other books that he's written or his other activities. For example, his book about how people concerned about human impacts on climate and environmental degradation are somehow anti-humanist. And today, he is a fellow at the Center for Security Policy, which is a far-right think tank that has been designated a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Oh, no, not a hate group.
So we have all of these examples of people entering into discourse and into positions of relative influence by using space as supposedly this neutral topic or something where they can just talk about their ideas for the future without even realizing that they often have ideology behind it that goes unrecognized. Now, there are also a lot more straightforward examples of spacewashing, where talking about space really opens up the room for or even directly abets the perpetuation of state violence. So, for example, many of the companies that build infrastructure for space are defense contractors. And so they do their activities in space, sometimes for defense purposes and sometimes on the side of their main business, which is building weapons to murder people and curtail our freedom of movement. For many years, Northrop Grumman has used NASA's current flagship mission, JWST, as a proud part of its marketing campaign for painting itself as an innovator. And they've gone so far as to bring like a full-size interactive model of JWST, which, by the way, this telescope is about the size of a tennis court. It is huge. They brought it to the South by Southwest Festival in Austin, which welcomed it and continues to welcome defense contractors pretty regularly with open arms.
Uh-oh.
Now, presumably Northrop's other products, like the weapons it manufactures to carry out genocide against Palestinians, the surveillance technologies it provides to US border control to surveil and criminalize people, just don't make for a fun exhibit, but space certainly does. So colonization and the infrastructure of criminalization extend not just from here on Earth, but out into orbit. And they've been able to move forward hidden behind this glamour of space and these flimsy arguments that you hear about the social good that they supposedly provide. So I'm going to return to talking about Starlink, because about 6 years ago, Starlink, which is the SpaceX satellite constellation, was being marketed as an internet provider for supposedly underserved parts of the globe, despite there being analysis that showed that Starlink was not actually priced in a way where it was affordable for anyone who actually needed its services. And Starlink is what's known as a mega constellation of satellites. So since 2019, SpaceX has pumped over 7,800 satellites into orbit. So think back to the 30 that provide GPS. Now there are 7,800 just of Starlink satellites. Their goal...
Guys, this is a presentation about socialists planning what they want to do in space to create a Marxist utopian outer space. That's what this is.
Is to have as many as 42,000 in orbit eventually. Now, these satellites pose a really grave threat to both present and future projects in space by crowding low Earth orbit. They can create debris that could one day bar our access to these orbits entirely. And the thing is, it doesn't actually matter whether any individual user can afford Starlink or not, because individual internet access isn't its main user base, the military is. And because of wide adoptions of the more secure military-grade version of Starlink, which is called Starshield, the US military now treats Elon Musk as a de facto statesman who has the capacity to determine which conflicts have access to the internet at which time. And SpaceX is the top launch provider in the world. They were awarded just in April $6 billion for 28 launches. So they're working also with the National Reconnaissance Office on something called a ground moving target indicator, which in other words uses space-based resources to track people moving on the ground. And I'm sure we can all see the problems with that. So at the beginning of this talk, I made a big point of emphasizing that space itself is not that far away from us at all. But I hope you're also getting the picture that space activities, the industries, the workplaces, the environmental impacts all happen right here on Earth. And the number of humans who have ever physically been to space or done work in space is minuscule by comparison with the number of people who work on space on Earth and who are impacted by it, including yourselves. So whether it's places like the Rio Grande Valley in Texas, where the organizers of SpaceX have been resisting SpaceX's colonization of the region and unregulated degradation of their land, or the access road to Mauna Kea on the Big Island of Hawaii, where Kanaka Maoli mountain protectors have been resisting the construction of the 30-meter telescope, or in Brazil, where the Quilombola communities have brought a case against the Brazilian state over human rights violations related to the Alcântara Launch Center. These are organizers and activists just like you. They are out there and they need our solidarity. And none of those people that I mentioned are doing it because they oppose or hate space. Just like you or I, they embrace space as a site of wonder, a relative, a precious part of all of our respective cultures in one way or another. Space is the part of the planetary environment that in principle, everyone can see and connect to. Like, that's not even true of the ocean. And in a moment, I'm going to give Chanda the floor to talk about space as a site of radical imagination, and what it would look like. I hope we can all talk about to do, what we audaciously titled this session as "Reclaim the Future" in this context. But
hey, thanks so much, Thor's Rune over on Rumble for the super chat. They really are trying to do the meme, fully automated gay space communism. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Hey, guys, breaking news, breaking news. I just want to show you guys again. I just want to show you guys what I have to deal with on a daily basis from conservatives. Again, just so people can, I was looking at Twitter. Just so people can get an idea of all of the bullshit that I have to deal with every single day in order to cover the far left on the internet. So I retweeted the stream on Twitter and I said, have already welcomed almost 250 new members to the channel today. Thanks to conservative retards stealing my work. Thanks, guys. The first response I get, this is so typical of what I find in my feed all day, every day. I like your work and I have been watching it. By the way, anytime someone starts a tweet with, I like your work and I've been watching it, it means they have never watched my work. Maybe they've seen me being shared on Twitter, but it means they've literally never watched my work before. I promise you. Is this person even following me? This person isn't even following me. I like your work and I've seen everything you've ever done and I've supported you for years. But you whine like a liberal constantly. I spend most of my professional life having people take credit for what I did. It's a part of life. Well, that sounds like a personal problem for me, you dumb bitch. You're turning off more people than you're gonna get with crying with every post you make. Conservatives. And let me just put this in the chat in case people want to reply to it. Let me just put it in the chat. You guys can reply to it or not. I don't really care either way. Conservatives, let me explain something to you. If you care more about me correctly pointing out that you are stealing my work, which means you are actively stealing from one of the very few independent journalists on the internet covering the far left, and you are more pissed off that I'm pointing out that you are stealing my work than you are at the amount of left-wing content that I have that no one else on the internet has, the amount of times I've gone undercover with the far left to expose what no one else has exposed, the massive archive of information that I have, the dozens of hours I spend every single week teaching people. Oh, Sarah Fields said, I think Karlyn thinks grooming is free speech and she was in a relationship with a pedophile. Hey, Sarah, even if your defamatory lies were true, that would still not justify you stealing my content, clipping my clip off of my fucking stream, you dumb bitch, and then sharing it like you found it. Well, I can steal her work because she says things I don't like and she dated someone in college I didn't like. How much you guys want to bet that Sarah Fields was like a massive fucking whore in college? Does anyone want to bet? Let's actually just go to Sarah Fields' Twitter account right now. How much you guys want to bet that Sarah Fields was like a massive fucking whore in college and Sarah Fields wants to bring up someone I dated 25 fucking years ago who, after we dated, he went to prison for something he did not do? And I know he didn't do it. And I will never bend the knee to grifter cunts like this and say, oh, I'm so sorry I dated someone you didn't like. No. My college boyfriend was innocent, went to prison for something he did not do, has been doxxed by people like Sarah Fields, dragged all over the fucking... Do you guys know these people have spent years doxing my college boyfriend from 25 years ago because they're attacking me, and so they go after anyone connected with me to attack me and defame me, and then Sarah Fields wants to take the morally righteous high horse? She's still a whore, and by the way, her ex-husband is literally in jail for something he did do. Oh, Sarah Fields was married to a pedophile? Holy shit. Holy shit. What did Sarah Fields say? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Did you know she defended being in a relationship with a pedo? I was never in a relationship with a pedo, you dumb cunt. Did you know she thinks grooming is free speech? Well, Sarah, then why haven't the schools been sued for grooming kids? Sarah, if grooming kids in school is not protected speech, then why haven't you sued the schools for grooming kids? Why haven't conservatives ever sued the school for the schools teaching kids that gender is not real? Has that ever happened? Has any conservative parent ever sued the schools for teaching their kids that gender isn't real? Has any conservative parent ever sued the schools for grooming kids? Has that ever fucking happened? 1 in the chat if that has happened, 2 in the chat if it hasn't happened. You want to know why literally 0 conservative parents have ever sued the schools? Because whether you like it or not, how they are grooming kids in school is actually protected speech. So conservatives can contend with reality that what is going on in the schools is actually protected speech, and they can maybe get off their lazy fucking asses and do something about that. But do they do that? No. Sarah Fields says, Karlyn correctly pointed out that this is all free speech, and I get to steal her content because she pointed out that this is free speech. Hey, Sarah, until you can give me one example of one conservative parent that have sued the schools over grooming, then literally shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch. I want nothing to do with this crazy woman. Then why the fuck are you taking the time to go to my video, clip the section out of it to remove the branding, and steal my content, you dumb fucking cloud chasing whore? I want anyone that's not blocked by Sarah Fields to feel free to respond with exactly what I just said, and I will put the link to the tweet in the chat. If you want to tell Sarah Fields that Karlyn says that you are a stupid, dumb bitch who shouldn't be talking on the internet, and to name me one parent that has ever sued the schools for grooming their kids, if grooming really takes place in schools, and parents have never sued the schools for grooming their little darlings, then why not, Sarah? Why not? Why have no conservative parents ever sued the schools for grooming their little darlings? Is it because you idiots are so unhinged from reality that you don't even know what is legal and not legal? Or is it just my fault? Or is it just my fault for correctly pointing out that what the schools are doing to your fucking little darlings who you send to the public schools, by the way? Is it just my fault for pointing out that there is a reason that none of you massive fucking retards have ever sued the schools for grooming your kids? Yeah. Who literally, I'm sorry, who literally spent years trying to tell people, don't send your kids to public school, homeschool your kids, abolish the public schools? Who literally spent years trying to tell that? And then this dumb cunt has the nerve to fucking say, Karlyn supports grooming in schools. Literally suck my dick, you stupid fucking bitch. Suck my dick. Get down on your fucking knees where you fucking belong, because it's all you know how to do, you dumb whore, and suck my dick. That's all. Let's go back to space.
What I want to leave you with is the thought that our opposition is making plans for space. There are conferences on space capitalism, the extraction of resources, how to make space an arena of war, which it historically has not been. And we cannot give them an inch or they will take the universe.
Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm just going to say those space capitalism conferences are wild.
Space capitalism.
So this is just me editorializing, but I just feel like I need to add on to that point. One of the things people do at events like that is they sit around talking about what space governance should look like. And so it's really important to recognize that our opposition are talking about how to govern us from space and how to make space part of the governance structure that they have already established over us or running over us. And so in making a choice to engage or not engage with space, we are making a choice about whether we engage with one of the fronts of contestation and struggle that we're going to be stuck with whether we like it or not. So I think that's maybe the bridge between Lulu's comments and where I'm going to go. So I want to start by telling you all a story. So one day, the young men of Isi Mbide village came together and hatched a plan to climb up to the moon. Once there, their plan was to remove it from the sky and rent it to whoever could afford it. And so through this celestial endeavor, they were trying to do a few things. So one, they wanted to show how strong and how capable they were. Like, we went, we got the moon, we're boss. And then this was also a money-making scheme. They actually wanted to rent the moon out to people for their weddings as kind of like a cool, like you got the moon for your wedding. That's pretty amazing. So the plan was that during the full moon, and this is what they did, they climbed up the tallest Iroko tree in the area. And once they reached the top of the tree, an additional man would climb up shoulder to shoulder so they could go higher and higher towards the moon. And the idea was that eventually someone would get close enough to hook the moon, and then they were going to pull it down like an ornament pulling down from the sky. And to communicate progress, they used a long rope attached to a gong, and whenever a new climber was needed, they would bang on it, and this would lead to someone going back up and adding to their spatial extent. And so as the story goes, the mission failed because the moon angrily realized its space was being encroached upon. So basically the moon was like, there are some colonizers coming. And so the moon declared, "Tua, tua, tua. Who instructed you to invade this territory? Did your mother or father ever dare do this? May the earth open up and swallow you all whole."
Wow.
And immediately after, the earth opened up and the men and the tree fell to earth, leaving nothing behind but a crater that apparently to this day still exists. So this is a story that appears in Obioma Uchendu's The Early Spacemen of Nigeria. And it is a story that is told in the region where he heard it. And it is an old story.
Remember, guys, this person has written multiple books about this topic. This is for real. This is not satire.
So I think it's easy to interpret a story like this as one that is simply mythology, like local or regional storytelling.
Guys, I'm going to go fill up my cup of coffee. I will be right back. I'm going to let this play. As a reminder, we will be doing State of the Union coverage tonight. We're just kind of pre-gaming right now. We're going to watch this for a little while, and then we're going to go break, and we're going to go do State of the Union coverage. So if you're looking for coverage of the speech tonight, we will be doing that. We're just watching some good leftist space talk up until then. But I'm going to go get a new cup of coffee, and I'm going to let this play. I'll be right back. Let me know if I miss anything.
But I think it's important to notice there's a material element to it, which is one, recognizing the moon as a material object that can be physically engaged with. This is a form of scientific theorizing that I think often gets categorized as mythology when it comes from certain communities and science when it comes from a different set of communities. There's also this element of the Earth and the moon having some kind of dynamical relationship where they're in communication, and that turns out to actually have a physical basis, that there is actually a strong gravitational relationship between the Earth and the moon, and it goes in both directions. So the moon is in Earth's orbit, but the reason that we have the tides that we do is because of the way that the moon pulls back on the Earth. So that's one of the stories I want to tell you. The second story that I want to tell you comes from the journals of a slave ship captain. And so I'm gonna tell you my version of the story because frankly, like, fuck that guy. And also the way he writes it is fairly unremarkable. And that was shadier than I meant it to be, but here we are. So he tells the story of witnessing some captives coming off of the ship in Suriname, having just survived the Middle Passage. And they are given a broken bottle and basically told to clean themselves up for the auction block. And these men apparently took the broken bottle and they shaved their heads, and they didn't just shave off all of their hair or just like clean up their faces or something like that. They carved images of the stars and the moon into their hair and then emerged from the ship with the cosmos on their heads. And this has been noticed by scholars throughout the years as a moment of first creation of a distinct African America's Black Atlantic culture, that this is one of the first moments of cultural creation for people who have just survived the Middle Passage. But I think part of what stands out to me is the piece about the sky as a recognizable part of the ecosystem. So as Lulu said, the sky is the one part of our ecosystem that is globally accessible no matter where you are on the planet. So if you think about a situation where you have experienced an alien kidnapping, which is what the Middle Passage was, it was a kidnapping by these alien freaks, frankly, and coming out, how would you know that you are in the same cosmology as the one that you left? You look up at the sky and you recognize the star that's there, that's our sun. At night, you look up, you see the moon, and you recognize that the moon is going through the same phases. This is the same moon. This is part of how you know, okay, I don't recognize these plants. I don't necessarily recognize the color of this dirt. The water color looks different to me. And I have been in this ship. I went across, as some people might have experienced it, this big river. But I know that I am in the same cosmology because I recognize the night sky. And so I think when we talk about what the cosmos is to us, I think it's very easy to get caught up in Whitey is on the moon type narratives, because that is how the story has been presented to us as part of this Cold War frame.
You know, my husband just made a really interesting point to me. I was telling him about all the about how we tricked conservatives by getting them to steal the clickbait content, and my husband was like, Karlyn, you should do this every once in a while because you're going to teach conservatives don't steal your shit if you're actually just tricking them into doing it. And so I was like, that's actually a really good point. If we keep tricking conservatives into stealing my content and sharing it, but like we're doing it in a way where we're making fun of them and we will ride their asses like every single time they do it, that actually might get them to stop stealing my fucking content.
Work that Lulu was talking about. And part of what I want to encourage people to think about is that the night sky was there, and we were there with the night sky before the Cold War was there, before the Middle Passage, in fact. And we have always, as a species, had these relationships to the night sky. So
you're always
one point I
confused.
want people to walk away with is the cosmos is Black history. I think this is a really important thing. The cosmos is part of our history. If you want to go back to where we began, honestly, you got to go back to the Big Bang.
The cosmos is Black history because of the Big Bang. And because, remember, guys, the left believes that capitalism started in ancient Samaria. So space, because of the Big Bang, is Black history.
That's where the hydrogen comes from. That's where the stars come from. The stars fuse carbon, oxygen, all of these things that we're made of, that our world is made of. And part of the way that I think about this is it comes from thinking through Jamaican American philosopher Sylvia Wynter, who I think a lot of people, in terms of people who kind of challenge the normative humanist framework with, I think, some Marxist perspective, people often go to C.L.R. James or Claudia Jones. And I think Sylvia Wynter is right there and is deeply underappreciated as a philosopher who was thinking about some of these same issues about what is the human, what does that mean in relation to labor. And in conversation with Catherine McKittrick, she made this comment. The paleontologist Juan Luis Arzuaga proposes that the human is not only a languaging being, but also a storytelling species. In my own terms, the human is Homo narrans. So the point that she is making here is that we are not just a biologically constructed species, but we are also a species that self-constructs through the stories that we tell. And so thinking about this from the position of the kind of work that I do, I immediately was like, wait, we evolved under the night sky. And some of our earliest stories, the first stories that we told, are about our relationship with the night sky and the daytime sky, the things that happen in the cosmos. So we are a storytelling species, and the night sky figures in some of those earliest stories. It's not really possible, in my view, to think about our humanity without thinking about the night sky. And that means to be cut off from our night sky is to be cut off from our humanity. And that's actually part of the violence. There are many elements to the violence of the Middle Passage that we could be here for the entire conference and not have enough time to enumerate all of them. But I will say one of them is putting people in a place where they could not access natural light and they could not access the night sky. That's part of the violence. So starting from the point that we are Homo narrans, then we can start thinking of ourselves as a small part of the cosmos that are crafting stories about the rest of the cosmos. And that in fact, it is actually part of what we do, and it is part of our birthright. I know rights are kind of a fraught framework, but let's go with it for a second. It is part of our birthright to have this relationship with the cosmos. The things we can see and the things we can't see. I just got to say, the one thing I got to say about dark matter is that most of the matter in the universe is dark matter. So mostly the stuff out there is stuff we can't see, right? And so when I'm talking about the cosmos, I include all of those things, the things that we can and cannot see. So when we start to think about, I spent time thinking about this also through the lens of Robin D.G. Kelly's work on freedom dreams. What would it take for people to have access to their freedom dreams in relation to the night sky? And I think that this can be a really interesting way to motivate the kinds of dynamical change that we need to have in how our social systems are set.
They're allowed to take their mask off when they're doing the presentations. Everyone else in the room is wearing a mask.
Up and who they are set up for. So I guess I have on my list here, every child having access to the dark sky means, I guess I added fuck Starlink was my first bullet point. I really, when we talk about the satellites that Lulu was just discussing, we're really talking about a blighting of the night sky. And I always think about that part in the Animatrix where humanity blights the sky so that the machines can't access their energy source. And for me, this is like we're doing that to ourselves by literally blighting the sky. And it does mean light is getting reflected back to Earth. It does mean the instruments that we invest in as a community like the Verisi Rubin Observatory. This was a very expensive experiment. We've invested a lot in it. Now has to take into account the presence of these satellites so that we can get clean images of the sky. And I'm saying I'm not representing the observatory in any capacity, but it is something that I'm a member of one of the scientific collaborations that's trying to do science with it. So that's a serious thing that is happening to us right now. For those of us who are amateur astronomers, I do amateur astronomy. I can't get a long, like 5 to 10 minute image without something going through it right now. And that's because there's just so much activity in the sky at night. But also when we think about what it means to have access to the night sky, to really be able to go and sit and wonder, to really just sit and think with yourself, to think with your community, what does this thing mean to me? What does it mean to be part of this expanse? Means that you have to have enough to eat so that you are not sitting there thinking about where your next meal is coming from, so that you're not having to organize for people in your community to figure out where their next meal is coming from. It means housing security. It means clean water. It means sovereignty. It means actually have access to the land that you have a relationship with. It also means clear skies, and that's not just a Starlink thing. That's also about what kinds of toxins are going into the air, whether we're thinking about air pollution, et cetera. It also means ensuring that there is adequate public transportation that's accessible. It means everyone has the kind of public transportation that whatever mobility device that they may need to use sometimes or all the time goes on that public transportation. That's not optional, that's required. And it also means our incarcerated folk, when they do get time outside, it's only during the day. And I have to ask, even in the narrative where people are being sent to prison so they can get better, what kind of better are people being asked to become if we don't let them spend time with the things that are beautiful about our universe and our...
As a reminder, the far left wants to abolish the police, abolish prisons, abolish all prisons, let everyone out of prison, have no police officers. They believe that all crime is created by capitalism because capitalism creates the conditions under which people need to commit crime to literally survive. And therefore, if we abolish capitalism and then abolish the police and abolish prisons and just let everyone out and everything's going to be fine, there will be no more crime. This communist is arguing that prison is oppressive because people in prison can't go out and look at the stars and see space. Again.
Transportation, that's not optional, that's required. And it also means our incarcerated folk, when they do get time outside, it's only during the day. And I have to ask, even in the narrative where people are being sent to prison so they can get better, what kind of better are people being asked to become if we don't let them spend time with the things that are beautiful about our universe and our world, if we're actively cutting people off from that? And I think that's one of the reasons abolitionism is really important. So a lot of these questions swirl around the question of what would it mean to live in good relations with each other? And I think that actually the access to the sky can be an interesting thought point of how we do that and who we do that with and who we do it for. And I like to quote my mom, Margaret Prescott here, who said to me recently, I was talking with her about all of the things that are happening. And she said, without joy, what the fuck is the point? I cuss a lot. It's my mom's fault. My mom's actually probably watching this, so hi, Mom. It's your fault. But I really think this is also a piece of it, which is that this is something that brings us joy. And at the end of the day, I actually think that that's a key part of our organizing. I think sometimes in organizing spaces, we can get into the mindset of, who can maximally suffer. And I actually don't think that's the point. I really don't think that's the point. And I actually think that maybe it's been easier for me to hold on to perspective about that because of the kind of work that I do, even as we could spend this whole weekend talking about the bullshit that is being a professor and the bureaucracy and how painful it is. So I'm not trying to say it's all fun and games, but I do think that that's something.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, college professor. Did everyone catch that? This person is a college professor.
Thing that I'm able to continue striving for. So I just want to add to this also that science is shaped by the stories we tell about who matters and whose ideas count. So the way that we think about what space is and what space can be in our communities is shaped by whose stories about space we decide are the meaningful ones. Like if we say the only meaningful ones are the Cold War stories, then sure, all space is some Whitey on the moon bullshit. But if we remember that space is other people's stories too, then we can start to reframe that. And I was really forced to think about this by the late Nikki Giovanni, who it turns out was like super obsessed with space travel and with Mars in particular. And she would go around like in interviews, this also appears in her poetry, but she had this kind of refrain of saying things like, can you imagine sex in space? She went on Being with Krista Tippett and said that, had a whole conversation about it. She wrote in her poetry, the trip to Mars can only be understood through Black Americans. So I'm going to say that I would have offered her the edit. Yes, I'm saying I would.
The trip to Mars can only be understood from the perspective of Black Americans. Explain, please.
Edit Nikki Giovanni. That really she meant the Black Atlantic, because it's not just Black Americans who experience the Middle Passage, but in fact, the majority of people who were kidnapped were taken to South America. And so that's really a full continental experience. But she was really talking about, if you want to ask someone about a hard journey, the descendants of the Middle Passage, the people who survived the Middle Passage, those stories can tell you about surviving a hard journey. And coming out on the other side and still being interested in the cosmos, still having questions about the cosmos. And as Nikki Giovanni says, in various places, all my people have ever done is go forward. And so I think part of what we want to invite people to do is think about, what does it mean to go forward? And so I think from my point of view, and I don't think that this is just self-serving, although it does happen to work out for me, that the creative work of particle physics and cosmology is part of how we grapple with who we are. That's part of what people are doing. It's why so many people love Nova and popular science books and take photos of the moon with their mobile phones. This is part of how we think about it.
We will be doing a live reaction to the State of the Union tonight. Yes, we're doing. Actually, we got to wrap this up soon and go do State of the Union coverage. We'll watch this a little bit longer and just get into it a little bit. But like I ranted a little bit more than I expected to on this stream, if I'm honest about it. But we will be doing State of the Union coverage. Let's just watch this a little bit longer. I do already have the State of the Union stream queued up, but the State of the Union doesn't start until 9 p.m. We'll probably shut this stream down a little bit earlier than that. I just want to watch the rest of this space presentation, or as much as possible.
Who we are. And so I will just say, like, on a practical level, this encourages me to think about the following questions. Which is, I'm wondering, is it possible to establish a basis for building space investigating technologies in a way that doesn't depend on the military-industrial complex? And so I'm just going to plant that as a question that people can come back to me with for like details of why I think we ended up in the situation that we're in, and why it's actually not a straightforward problem to solve, but I do think it's a solvable problem. And I think we also need to start thinking about big picture. How do we as a planetary species make decisions about our material relationship to the moon, to Mars? And so that means if we are going to these places, who gets to decide what happens on those journeys? Who gets to decide whether we decide anybody is staying and for how long, and what's the protocol for that? Right now, a very small number of people are making those decisions, and it's actually not particularly well regulated. And again, as I said, people are already starting to think about how to take advantage of this and do this. And if those of us on the left don't start thinking about it, we are literally just letting the right own it. And I mean own it, like in very literal, like not metaphorical, I mean own it. And so just to give an example, so Lulu mentioned global positioning system, the GPS. I just want to point out that this is a technology that only works because of general relativity. And this is really important because general relativity was an idea that was like, it seems very esoteric, space-time is curved, matter causes space-time to curve, like what does that have to do with me? The thing it has to do with you is that almost certainly you used it sometime in the last 3 days to get you somewhere. So the question is GPS a bad technology because the Air Force developed it? I don't know if that's a good question. I do think the interesting question for me there is who gets to decide how we translate this kind of knowledge into human use and how it impacts other species that we share the planet with and our ecosystems. And the last thing that I want to say about this is that the big picture question is there's a whole group of people that are getting trained in a technical sense how to think about general relativity. It's not actually an intuitive thing. Quantum mechanics is not necessarily intuitive, although there are good arguments for why, for example, non-binary people find wave-particle duality very straightforward. Yes, you can be both.
Non-binary people have a special affinity towards space particle reality. Why?
At the same time. Amru Al-Qadi gets credit for first kind of highlighting that, but I think there are various people who not every non-binary person feels that way, but some people do. People are developing intuitions for this work, and if the only people who do it are the ones who are like, yeah, I'll go work for the military, that's a problem. Other people need to have this intuition.
We're going to be watching Nick Fuentes' stream tonight for State of the Union coverage, by the way, just so people are aware. We're going to have a Nick Fuentes night. It's going to be the way it is. We haven't watched Nick in a while.
First of all, it's fucking awesome. I can tell you, like, there are parts of my head that, like, I could do without, but that part of my head I like. And it should be that those of us who are freedom dreamers have access to that way of seeing the world too. And if we just say science is evil, I don't fuck with that, then we're leaving a whole way of being in the universe on the cutting room floor. And I think that's a mistake. So I'll stop there.
There's the math. Now they're going to do questions.
Thank you so much, Shonda. So we have ample time for discussion as previously advertised, but we wanted to maybe offer you a couple, both of us being educators, I think you're about to have like a think, pair, share moment for other educators in the room. Yeah. But we wanted to offer some questions to you to maybe turn and talk with your neighbor for a second or two.
There is a giant population of people that go to the Socialism Conference that are teachers, by the way. There are literally hundreds of teachers that go to the Socialism Conference. How do I know that? I have been in the room with them, and I have seen when the panel members say, "How many people in this room are teachers?" Every fucking hand goes up. Hundreds of teachers were at this conference. You should go. You should. You should definitely go, and you should record all their asses, and we'll tell you which presentations to go to.
Before turning back to us and offering your thoughts or your questions or whatever it might be. And the ones that we came up with were to talk with each other for a couple of minutes about what are the ways that you have been impacted by space, or how is it part of your life?
Okay, we're going to fast forward through the discussion.
For people to share back maybe some of the things that they were talking about, to ask questions, etc. Because we are live streaming, for people being able to appreciate the conversation online, I would ask that if it's accessible to you, to come up and use the microphone that is here. If it is not accessible to you, you can raise a hand and we will deputize a community member to come over and bring you the microphone. Sound good?
We have a volunteer.
Well,
yeah. So
I mean, listen, this is the danger of what happens when conservatives run around saying they don't have jobs. They don't have jobs. They don't have jobs. We're the only ones with jobs. Socialists don't have jobs. The fact of the matter is socialists do have jobs. They do. Socialists have jobs in every single industry. Socialists have jobs in teaching. Socialists have jobs as media. Socialists have jobs as lawyers. Socialists have jobs as doctors. Socialists have jobs in the space industry. They literally have jobs in every single industry. So this is the danger when conservative retards perpetuate the lie that none of these people have jobs and they're all paid protesters. They all have fucking jobs, with very rare exception. There's always some groups, there's always some people in any crowd that don't have a job, even on the conservative right. There are lots of conservatives that don't have fucking jobs. I'll tell you that right now. But like, the majority, the vast majority, we're talking like 98% of socialists do have jobs. They have better jobs than you think they have. Many of them are educating your little darlings in public schools. And every single time people say they don't have jobs, they're paid protesters. They don't have jobs, they're paid protesters. They are perpetuating a really dangerous myth where people do not understand the absolute severity and widespread nature of this problem.
Are you coming up? I'm sorry? I think probably the easiest thing is if you can line up.
Yes, yeah, that would be great.
No, lie. No, wrong.
Oh, you good?
Yeah, we're sorting it out. Thank you.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't a reflection, it's a question I had while I was listening to all of you. So while I was listening, I was thinking about Lauren Alamina in The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. And I was thinking about the tension when she's having those conversations with her followers in that book, where they're saying, like, a lot of the stuff that you're saying is practical, but when you say that the destiny of humans is in the stars or in the sky, I forget how she phrases it, some of the people are like, that sounds really silly, that sounds really ridiculous, considering that I have to figure out how to survive until tomorrow, and I have to figure out how to eat, and I had to figure out how to not get killed. And like, that's like a big...
For people who are new to watching socialism, socialists still require masks at their event. It is not to hide their identity. Obviously, everyone in the room knows who these people are. Everyone in the room is wearing a mask right now. The reason they weren't wearing a mask earlier is they are allowed to take their masks off when they're presenting. But you notice they put their masks right back on when they're not presenting. It's not to protect their identity. They still believe that the pandemic is a real thing. They believe COVID is still a real thing. They believe that they are protecting their community by wearing masks. It's part of being in solidarity with the comrades. You are not a good comrade in solidarity with the community if you don't wear a mask, because you need to literally protect everyone else. That is the thought process behind it. It's called community care.
Tension and conversation in those books that I think Octavia Butler is exploring. So I was wondering how you both would respond to the idea of, you know, like, why Lauren Alamina was like, this is important for humans to say that their destiny is in the stars. And then also the reality of people who respond saying, that's silly. I need to figure out how to survive until tomorrow. I need to figure out how to eat today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I think I will respond with an Octavia Butler quote. So in 2000, and I think it's notable, she published this essay in Essence magazine, which for folks who don't know is a Black women's magazine, a few rules for predicting the future. And one of the things that she says in that essay is that we must count on the surprises.
No, these are not the same people, because those people were back in the 80s and this is 2026, or this was filmed in 2025. So what you're talking about happened over 35 years ago, and this is present day. So no, they're not actually the same people. Good try, though. Nice try owning the libs, but no, 35 years ago is not today.
And the point that she was making is that the future isn't written until it is happening. So I do think we need to think about our material considerations, like our immediate material considerations. Like, if I need to pee, then I got to think about peeing before I think about like writing my next book. That's just like, it's an ordering problem, right? To pick a very like silly example. But it's also the case that we do have this bigger picture of like, what is motive?
Well, it is the 8 o'clock hour. Let me ask you guys in the chat. One in the chat, if you guys want to conclude this stream, that you've had enough space crazy talk with the socialists and you want to go do State of the Union coverage. 2 in the chat if you want to continue with the Space Socialist stream for like another 15, 20 minutes or so, and then we go do State of the Union coverage. 1 in the chat if you want to wrap it up and do State of the Union coverage. Nick Fuentes should be going live pretty soon. 2 in the chat if you want to keep going with this and do the... Okay. 1. Okay. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Actually, I'm kind of ready for this too. You guys get the basic Maison said. Socialists are actively thinking about how to use space. We still have about, there's about half an hour left of this presentation. If you want to watch this on your own, I will put the link in the chat. And there you guys will have the link to watch it on your own. As a reminder, this was at the Socialism 2025 conference. The link will be up after today. You guys can watch it on your own. But we probably should, just to be responsible, wrap up this stream. And what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to be starting a new stream. And let me just give you guys the URL for the stream. Rumble, I can't start the new stream until I shut this one down. So Rumble, you guys can just keep an eye on the channel. But we will be doing bing, ding. We will be going over to another stream, State of the Union stream. And I'll put the link over on Rumble too, but Rumble, I will be setting up another stream over there. So guys, I'm going to wrap up our current stream. I'm going to get the other stream set up. We're going to go live. We're going to do some State of the Union coverage. And I know we can get another 52 channel members by the end of the State of the Union. I have faith. I have hope. I know you guys are going to hook me up. I know that we're all giving the most giant middle finger to the retards that stole my content and then justified why they stole my content. And that's going to be what it is. So guys, I will see you. Yes, it will be on Twitter. I'm just shutting this stream down. I will start up a new stream. Just because I like to keep this stuff separate because it works out better that way. So guys, I will see you. In a couple minutes on the other side, and we will continue with our coverage of the day. Thank you all for coming for this stream. I really, again, want to just express my appreciation to everyone who sent in a super chat, to everyone who gifted a channel membership, to everyone who joined my Substack, to everyone who shared my content on Twitter. However you guys helped or supported the channel today, I really do appreciate it. I am 100% funded and supported by you guys. I have no political masters. I have no political funders. I have, oh bro, just go over to Twitter and see my content literally everywhere. Everyone stole my content. It's all good though. It's all good. They just proved me right, and they proved themselves to be massive fucking grifters. Guys, I will see you on the other side. Thanks so much for supporting my work, and, we're continuing very, very soon.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for the people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.